Chapter 3555. Lin Yang, who had replaced Jiu Fu on the Saint Royal ranking, had actually been defeated. It wasn't just him. Even Ox Demon and the others narrowed their eyes. Obviously, they had underestimated Fang Chen's strength. As a third-level Holy King, Lin Yang had been unable to fight back. Jiu Fu's heart trembled as he recalled the battle between Fang Chen and Lin Yang. His forehead was covered in sweat. That battle was most likely because Fang Chen didn't want to waste time tangling with Lin Yang. Otherwise, Lin Yang would have been defeated. It's too scary. Thinking of this, Jiu Fu had already regarded Fang Chen as a 7th-level Holy King. Anyway, he would rather die than become enemies with such a person. Lin Yang was in great pain. His entire body was covered in blood. He sat on the ground, panting heavily. His eyes were filled with unwillingness. His throat moved as if he wanted to speak, but in the end, he didn't. The winner was the king, and the loser was the bandit. Lin Yang also understood this principle. Today, he had been defeated by Fang Chen. He had been utterly defeated. He didn't even have the chance to fight back. He had given up. Everyone's gaze turned away from Lin Yang. They happened to hear Fang Chen's words. The disciples of the Heaven-Defying Alliance don't cause trouble, but it doesn't mean that we're afraid of trouble. If you still want to fight with us, then just attack. He stood with his hands behind his back, his aura majestic. Behind him, the Frost Saint Emperor and the other 3 all felt a trace of shame. Especially Frost Saint Emperor, his heart trembled. The monstrous talent that Fang Chen had displayed was enough for him to enter the Holy Ji Palace to cultivate. At this time, he finally understood why Peak Master Yun Luo had personally come forward and asked Fang Chen to participate in this mission. It turned out that the so-called Demonic Fire Domain mission was just a way to train Fang Chen. Compared to Fang Chen's brilliance, Frost Saint Emperor felt ashamed. Xian and Luo Zi looked at each other and didn't say anything. Now that Fang Chen had defeated Lin Yang so powerfully, even if they attacked, they probably wouldn't be able to defeat him completely. Moreover, behind Fang Chen was the Heaven-Defying Alliance. They wanted to see just what the Heaven-Defying Alliance was planning. Could it be that they wanted to become enemies with all the other factions of the Godsfall battlefield and monopolize this flame marrow mine for themselves? However, Tang Yi licked his dry lips and took a step forward, arriving in front of Fang Chen. 3rd-level Holy King, to be able to reach this step, in the entire Godsfall battlefield, your potential is undeniably number 1. However, there are times when potential cannot be exchanged for actual combat power. Perhaps you may become a top fighter in the future, but for now, you are at least a 3rd-level Holy King. What Tang Er meant was, I don't care what happens in the future. As long as I, Tang Er, am here, you will never be able to steal my limelight. Fang Chen looked at Tang Yi. Tang Yi was the only independent cultivator in the top 10 of the Sacred Emperor ranking who had not joined any sect. However, no one present dared to underestimate him. After all, behind him stood a super powerhouse, Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Old Ancestor Yi Kang was a peak invincible saint. He was very famous in the Godsfall battlefield. There were even rumors that he was most likely an old monster who had survived the ancient Godsfall battle. Even the Heaven-Defying Alliance and many other factions were not willing to provoke him. Old Ancestor Yi Kang had spent all his life on Tang Yi, hoping to train a disciple who could inherit his mantle. Now, it seemed that Tang Yi had done well. It could be said that Tang Yi was at the peak of his cultivation. As soon as he finished his apprenticeship, he swept away warriors of the same realm with an invincible stance. When he entered the Saint realm, he was even more arrogant and looked down on those of the same realm. Now, he was only one step away from entering the 7th-level Holy Realm. He had the right to be proud. Of course, the reason why he took action was mixed with some personal reasons. Jianji of the Sword Saint Mountain was his sworn brother. He was killed by Fang Chen. Jian Qingyun's arm was cut off, and the other disciples of the Sword Saint Mountain were slaughtered. All these factors combined gave Tang Yi a reason to take action. My master used to have some friendship with the higher-ups of the Sword Saint Mountain. When I left the mountain this time, he repeatedly told me to help the disciples of the Sword Saint Mountain if they are in trouble. Tang Yi said. The crocodile armor on his body exuded a terrible light that shrouded his entire body. Not only did you cut off Jian Qingyun's arm, but you also slaughtered so many innocent disciples of the Sword Saint Mountain. It is reasonable for me to take action and suppress an evil villain like you. Fang Chen sneered when he heard this. Just take action. Don't make it sound so righteous. Who didn't know Tang Yi's character? Fang Chen was fearless, but he reminded Tang Yi, you can take action if you want, but I have to remind you that my long sword has killed countless people. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by Tang Yi's shameless boasting. You're still not strong enough to kill me. Tang Yi sneered. Bull Demon and the others were also waiting with interest. Tang Yi's strength was infinitely close to Frost Saint Emperor and Jian Moyun. He should be able to test Fang Chen's strength. I'm just afraid that when I hit the young one, the old one will jump out. Fang Chen joked. You. Humph, if you can kill me, I have nothing to say. But if I kill you, I hope the heaven-defying alliance won't come after me, Tang Yi said coldly. Fang Chen waved his hand. In that case, make your move. Frost Saint Emperor and the others were surprisingly calm. To them, no matter how strong Tang Yi was, could he be stronger than Jian Moyun, who was a seventh-order saint? Everyone had underestimated Fang Chen's strength, and this would be a huge blow to them. Back then, Wang Daoyun walked out of the Nine Regions branch and became famous. He joined the Holy Ji Palace. I didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, the Nine Regions branch would produce an even more amazing genius, Purple Butterfly said. Lu Lanchi nodded. Among the four of them, she had known Fang Chen the longest. She recalled the man who had stepped onto Yunluo Peak for the first time for a stalk of golden flame grass. He had surpassed them in the blink of an eye. Her state of mind had undergone a great change. Junior brother Fang's potential is unprecedented. Even in the ancient times, he would be ranked, Saint Emperor Morbai said. A third-order Saint King is already so strong. I'm curious. How strong will he be when he becomes a seventh-order saint? Will he be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with an invincible saint? The other three were shocked by the Frost Saint Emperor's words. A seventh-order saint standing shoulder to shoulder with an invincible saint only existed in legends. Even if it was a legend, many people couldn't accept it. Looking at the battle not far away, the four of them looked hazy. It was as if they could really see that day coming. Boom. The battle was intense, and there was a lot of commotion. Tang Yi didn't give Fang Chen a chance. He attacked first. With the help of his armor, he exploded with his strongest power. The entire sky darkened. Fang Chen was in the middle of the whirlpool, but he was still calm. It was as if none of this had anything to do with him. In the distance, many disciples of the sect screamed. Chapter 3556. Taking turns to fight. Fang Chen stood in the middle of the whirlpool with his hands clasped behind his back. He looked calm as if he had nothing to do with it. He suddenly raised his head and said something that made everyone's jaws drop. Those of you who want to fight, come at me together. He patted the dirt off his sleeves and said indifferently. However, it gave the others an incomparable shock. He was going to challenge the top 10 on the Holy Royal ranking. Many of the sect disciples were stupefied. Great waves were stirred up in their hearts. It was just too shocking. Even the top genius on the Holy Royal ranking wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. At the same time, they were also guessing whether Fang Chen really had such confidence or was he just putting on an act to please the crowd. Buzz. The terrifying qi in the sky suddenly stopped. Tang Yi, who was floating in the air, looked even more gloomy. His body was filled with cold killing intent. Who was Tang Yi? He was 5th on the Holy Royal ranking. His overall strength wasn't any weaker than Holy Emperor Bing and Jian Moyun. He wasn't even afraid of Niu Mo. However, he was being humiliated by a third-rank Holy King. Boom. He slammed his palms together, causing the ground to explode and dust to fly everywhere. His chest was burning with rage as he looked at Fang Chen with a ferocious expression. At this critical moment, Fang Chen had actually said such words. It was simply a great humiliation to him. No one has ever dared to humiliate me like that. You are the first one. You will pay an unbearable price. Tang Yi said coldly. Everyone could hear that Tang Yi was furious. "Don't waste time. If you want to fight me, just do it. I will take it all." Fang Chen was unyielding. He wasn't afraid of facing the top 10 on the Holy Royal ranking. "You are courting death." Finally, Tang Yi couldn't control his anger anymore. He clenched his fists and a powerful energy covered his fists. He threw a punch. Boom, boom, boom. That punch contained powerful original strength. Even Xian and Luo Zi didn't dare to take it head-on. Tang Yi has become stronger. Xian and Luo Zi thought to themselves. However, in just a second, there was a deafening sound. The two punches collided and the ground shook. Boom, boom, boom. Out of everyone's expectation, Fang Chen not only blocked Tang Yi's attack, he even pushed Tang Yi back. On the other hand, Fang Chen didn't move at all. He just stood there with his hands behind his back as if he hadn't fought at all. The entire world was in an uproar. Everyone was dumbfounded. How is that possible? Xian. Luo Zi shook her head in disbelief. Nyomo is. All of a sudden, he was overwhelmed with shock. He looked at Fang Chen in a new light and felt that his guess was correct. Let me experience it as well. The sudden change stunned everyone. No one had expected that Nyomo, who was ranked second on the Holy Emperor ranking board, would join hands with Tang Yi to attack. Dong, dong, dong. Every time Nyomo took a step, the ground would crack. At the same time, he raised his head and roared. Two horns appeared on his forehead and his whole body was covered by the blood armor of the Nyo demon clan. At this moment, he turned back to his original form. He stomped his hooves and rushed towards Fang Chen. Boom. When Bull Demon made his move, Tang Yi also made his move. Although it was the first time the two of them worked together, their coordination was very smooth. The two of them had a clear division of labor. One of them attacked Fang Chen's upper body while the other attacked Fang Chen's lower body. Finally, you can't take it anymore? Fang Chen sneered. He didn't want to waste time here. It was good that Nyomo and Tang Yi were working together. If he could defeat them, then the younger generation wouldn't have the guts to challenge him. Fang Chen pulled out his hidden star sword. Sharp metal sword chi gushed out like a tide. Chaotic universe sword art. He immediately used his strongest sword technique. With a slash of his sword, 8 sword shadows appeared in the void. Each sword shadow contained a different sword principle aura. The 8 auras complemented each other and burst forth with the strongest power. Die! Nyomo shouted. Terrifying bloodline chi gushed out from his blood armor. His horns tore through the void and pierced towards Fang Chen's head. Poochie! The sword light pierced through one of Nyomo's horns. He screamed in pain. Another sword light pierced through his blood armor. Nyomo's body was covered in blood. On the other side, Tang Yi's attack was easily blocked by Fang Chen. His crocodile armor was pierced through by the chaotic universe sword light. Both of them had suffered injuries of varying degrees. This scene shocked many of the cultivators in the distance to the point where they could not be any more shocked. They had never thought that there would be such a monstrous talent among the younger generation. Who is he? Someone asked. Was he really just an ordinary outer disciple of the heaven-defying alliance? But the strength he displayed now was comparable to a 7th-level saint. Such a monstrous talent could be ranked among the top even in the Holy Ji Palace. For a moment, all kinds of guesses were made. Xian and Luo Zi were confused. What did they see? Was this really not a dream? Lin Yang lowered his head in shame. He rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, Fang Chen did not intend to kill him. Otherwise, he would not be standing here. As for Jiyu Fu, he looked like he had seen a ghost. From the beginning to the end, only Saint Emperor Bing and the other 3 were calm. After seeing Fang Chen's battle with Jiaomo Yun in the Demon Slayer formation, Tang Yi and Nyomo were nothing. After this battle, junior brother Fang will become famous in the Godfall battlefield, said Saint Emperor Morbai. I'm curious. Between him and the guy who ranked first on the Saint Emperor ranking, who is stronger? Zidi teased. Lu Lanshi had a lot of thoughts in his mind. He looked at Fang Chen with an indescribable look in his eyes. A rare monstrous talent. He is destined to stir up a storm. Saint Emperor Bing was more and more certain that the Holy Ji Palace had already decided on Fang Chen. This mission was just one of the trials. He was even more certain that Fang Chen had used a special method to send a message back. The upper echelons of the heaven-defying alliance would definitely come. Even Lei Gong would come personally. The heaven-defying alliance could not afford to lose such a genius. The world is changing, Saint Emperor Bing said thoughtfully. On the battlefield, Fang Chen easily blocked Niu Mo and Tang Yi's attacks. In just one round, the two were covered in injuries. Bang! Niu Mo was sent flying by Fang Chen again. One of his horns was broken and the other cracked. He endured the pain and retreated quickly. In the blink of an eye, he was out of the battlefield. Niu Mo, admit defeat. Niu Mo, ranked second on the Saint Emperor ranking, admitted defeat in front of everyone. Chapter 3557. Who was Niu Mo? He was a young genius of the ancient Demon Ox clan. Since the ancient Demon Ox clan had declined after the Battle of the Gods, they had been cultivating generations after generations of geniuses. Finally, Niu Mo had been cultivated. It was said that Niu Mo had the Reckless Ox battle body, which was extremely strong. Once it was activated, his combat strength could be superimposed 9 times. His power was extraordinary, and there were few among the younger generation who could match him. Back then, when the Sacred Emperor ranking was compiled, he was only ranked second because of the difference of one move. Even so, the other experts on the Sacred Emperor ranking did not dare to disrespect him. However, today, Niu Mo, who had the Reckless Ox battle body, joined forces with Tang Yi, the personal disciple of ancestor Yi Kang, but they were no match for Fang Chen. The latter's strength was too strong. His swordsmanship had reached an incredible level. People even thought that the unique techniques of the Sword Saint Mountain were no match for him. Before Fang Chen, everyone respectfully called Jiao Mo Yun the Little Sword Saint. However, after seeing Fang Chen's battle, the title of Little Sword Saint belonged to him. He's too strong. Even Jiao Mo Yun is no match for him. I'm beginning to suspect that the vision just now might have been Jiao Mo Yun breaking through, and the 5 from the heaven-defying alliance were blocking him. A great battle broke out. Everyone had different opinions. When they recalled that Niu Mo and the others had sensed a trace of Sword Saint Mountain's aura in the fire marrow mine, they were even more certain that there had been a fierce battle. At this moment, a question appeared in everyone's mind. Where did Jiao Mo Yun go? Thinking of this, everyone looked at Fang Chen with their mouths agape. At this moment, their hearts were filled with shock. This was because they had thought of an unimaginable result. Impossible. Jiao Mo Yun is the chief disciple of the Sword Saint Mountain and is respectfully called the Little Sword Saint. His swordsmanship cultivation has reached an incredible level. Even Niu Mo might not be able to defeat him. Moreover, the vision just now clearly showed that someone was undergoing a tribulation. Maybe it was Jiao Mo Yun. He couldn't have died in battle. Many people did not believe that Jiao Mo Yun had died in battle. They shook their heads frantically. Dong. However, at this moment, a deafening voice sounded. After Bull Demon admitted defeat, he left the battlefield. Tang Yi's heart was burning with anger. Although Fang Chen's strength was beyond his imagination, it was too late for him to stop now. This was because his attack had already been unleashed, and it had already arrived in front of Fang Chen. Kill. Without Ox Demon holding him back, he would have to face Fang Chen's strongest attack. However, he had no other choice but to bite the bullet and fight. Die for me. Tang Yi's palm slammed into the void. Suddenly, grey powder scattered. The 3 primordial fires in the void were refined by the grey powder and then condensed together to form a flame. As soon as this flame appeared, it caused the surrounding void to collapse. Facing Tang Yi's attack, Fang Chen snorted and slashed out with his sword. Even if the 2 of them joined forces, they were still no match for him. A mere Tang crocodile was nothing. Sure enough, the result was as expected. All of Tang Yi's attacks instantly turned into nothingness under Fang Chen's star-hidden sword. Poochie. The star-hidden sword pierced through the void flame and then stabbed Tang Yi as fast as lightning. The latter had almost no time to react and was stabbed by the long sword. Blood spurted out, and his body exploded. Flesh and blood splattered, and a miserable scream was heard. Rip! When Tang Yi's body fell to the ground, everyone gasped. The crocodile armor on his body was beyond recognition. Everyone was shocked to the extreme. One should know that the crocodile armor was the remains of old ancestor Yi Kang when he stepped into the invincible saint realm. He then personally refined it into the crocodile armor and even integrated his blood into the crocodile armor. Strictly speaking, this crocodile armor was considered to be the top among the origin sacred weapons. However, in the face of Fang Chen's attack, the crocodile armor was beyond recognition. It couldn't block the attack for Tang Yi at all. Tang Yi's legs were shattered, and he was dragging half of his body. In the distance, among the crowd, someone exclaimed and wanted to save Tang Yi, but after thinking about it carefully, he stopped in the end. Even Tang Yi and Bull Demon were no match for him. They would be courting death if they went. Quickly inform old ancestor Yi Kang. Some disciples of the sect used special means to pass the news back. There were also people who tried to send a message to old ancestor Yi Kang. They believed that soon, the demonic Skyfire domain would become a hell of Azura, and all the top saints would come. Tang Yi endured the pain and glared at Fang Chen. You dare to break my legs? You will regret it. At this time, Tang Yi was still threatening Fang Chen. My master, old ancestor Yi Kang, will be here soon. When the time comes, you will die without a burial place. Fang Chen shrugged, I knew it. If I hit the young one, the old one would jump out. Old ancestor Yi Kang. If he wants to avenge you, just come. Does he really think that there is no one in the heaven-defying alliance? He had already sent a message back. Presumably, Palace Master Lei Yi would be arriving soon. Once Palace Master Lei Yi arrived, old ancestor Yi Kang would be nothing. You, lowly human with dirty blood in your body. What qualifications do you have to talk about my master? Tang Yi was furious. Fang Chen shook his head, but the lowly human in your eyes defeated you. You will even die in his hands. Who do you think you are? Not far away, Bull Demon was silent. He had fought with Fang Chen and had the right to speak, but he didn't want to speak. He knew very well how terrifying Fang Chen was. If Tang Yi didn't use his master to threaten Fang Chen, he might have a chance to live. However, he was courting death. At this point, he still threatened Fang Chen and even called him a lowly race. It was simply courting death. Xian, Luo Zi, Jiu Fu, and the others kept their mouths shut, fearing that they would anger Fang Chen. Everyone's eyes were on Fang Chen. This young guy shocked the world with one battle, sweeping the top 10 of the Saint Royal list. This battle was enough to leave his name in history. Deng deng deng. Fang Chen walked towards Tang Yi step by step, and the latter finally felt a trace of fear. What do you want to do? Tang Yi's half-body kept retreating. The ground was stained with blood. His face was full of fear, and his body was trembling slightly. You can't kill me. Fang Chen didn't hide his killing intent. Tang Yi was no longer stubborn and began to beg for mercy. Bang! Fang Chen sent Tang Yi flying with a punch. I have no enmity with you, but you want to kill me. If I let you go today, I can't guarantee that you won't do anything to me in the future. Moreover, it's useless to keep a trash like you alive. I might as well just kill you. He had destroyed half of Tang Yi's body and cut off his cultivation path. This was already an irreconcilable hatred. His master, old ancestor Yi Kang, would never let him go. Instead of that, he might as well go all out and kill Tang Yi. No, if you let me go, my master will definitely give you cultivation resources to help you break through to the Saint Royal realm. Tang Yi was anxious, and, from now on, I swear that I will never do anything to you again. I will even become your right-hand man and work for you. If it were an ordinary person, they might be attracted by Tang Yi's conditions, but Fang Chen wasn't. Not to mention that he had a lot of cultivation resources. Just his identity as a disciple of the heaven-defying alliance was enough for him to not worry about resources. Now, he even controlled the entire fire marrow load. Tang Yi's conditions were really not that attractive. I have cultivation resources. It's simply an eyesore for a trash like you to be my right-hand man. Fang Chen took a step forward and came in front of Tang Yi. The latter fled in a panic, but he couldn't escape from Fang Chen's palm at all. Let me tell you a secret. In order to survive, Tang Yi used all his means. Fang Chen snorted coldly. He didn't want to pay attention to Tang Yi at all. However, the latter's next sentence made him stop abruptly. I once inadvertently obtained a flag at the edge of the primal chaos battlefield. This flag contained a great opportunity. As he spoke, he hurriedly took out an orange flag from his arms. Buzz! On the flag, a murderous aura escaped and instantly swept across the world. Even Fang Chen couldn't help but frown when he felt this aura. What a strong murderous aura. Dong dong dong. The blood in Fang Chen's body suddenly became restless. He looked at the flag seriously and noticed a trace of strangeness. Seeing Fang Chen's reaction, Tang Yi continued, according to my master, the murderous aura contained in this flag is too shocking. If it is released, it will destroy the world. And this flag is very likely to be related to the battle of the ancient gods. Everyone gasped. A flag related to the battle of the ancient gods? Everyone's eyes fell on the flag. This flag, the size of a palm, looked very ordinary. On the orange flag, there was a little light black light. There was nothing except for the murderous aura. What's going on? The more Fang Chen looked at it, the more shocked he became. At some point, he seemed to have fallen into an illusion. He saw that inside the flag, the dark aura condensed into a ferocious face. When he saw this ferocious face, he almost cried out. Fang Chen's face became serious. The ferocious face was actually the face of the mastermind behind the demonic emperor's mausoleum. This discovery made Fang Chen completely shocked. Sure enough, the aura is the same. After calming down, Fang Chen felt that in the murderous aura, there was the same aura as the evil cultivator in the demonic emperor's mausoleum. He suppressed his shock and held the flag in his palm. The terrifying murderous aura madly drilled into his body. Fortunately, the perfect blood blocked it, so he was safe. Who is he? Is he really the mastermind behind the battle of the ancient gods? Tang Yi breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Fang Chen also saw the extraordinary nature of this flag. He could at least delay until his master arrived. Humph, when my master arrives, you will definitely die, Tang Yi thought to himself. Fang Chen looked at Tang Yi sharply. Where did this flag come from? Chapter 3558. Tang Yi could feel the cold murderous intent from Fang Chen. He began to feel guilty, afraid that Fang Chen would kill him regardless of everything. If that was the case, even if his master avenged him, what could he do? His top priority now was to survive until his master arrived. Therefore, he had told Fang Chen about his greatest fortuitous encounter in order to stall for time. Hearing this, Fang Chen's expression changed. The other sect disciples in the distance were also moved. In the ancient times, the battlefield of gods was originally a macro world. However, after the battle of gods, the macro world was completely shattered, and all the cultivators were almost wiped out. The battles between the top cultivators created countless dangerous places. The battlefield of chaos was one of them. Although it was called a dangerous place, it was actually a place for training. Of course, this training place was not for ordinary people to enter. Under normal circumstances, one's cultivation had to be at least at the 7th level of saint to be qualified to enter. However, that was only the qualification. If one wanted to obtain an opportunity in it, one had to be at least a 9th level saint. In the battlefield of gods, most of the top cultivators in the sect would go to the battlefield of chaos to look for opportunities. Now, the flag that Tang Yi mentioned was actually from the battlefield of chaos, which surprised everyone. Feeling the change in Fang Chen's mood, Tang Yi breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly took out the flag. Rumble. As soon as the flag appeared, the color of heaven and earth changed. The dark clouds in the sky instantly turned blood red, and the air was filled with a terrible smell of blood. The disciples of the weaker sects in the distance quickly retreated, their hearts full of shock. What is this? Fang Chen's eyes widened, and his primordial spirit locked onto the flag in Tang Yi's hand. At this time, Tang Yi was holding a palm-sized blood-red flag in his hand. This flag released a monstrous evil aura. Buzz. An overwhelming baleful aura surged wildly from the blood-red flag. In the end, it pressed down on Fang Chen at a speed invisible to the naked eye. Dong dong dong. The blood in Fang Chen's body was restless. When he came back to his senses, his face became gloomy. He suddenly rotated his palm and brandished the hidden star sword. The sword light exploded and turned into a 10,000-meter-long sword light in the air. It rushed into the incomparably dense evil chi. The sound of metal clashing could be heard. The evil chi rushing towards Fang Chen was forcibly cut apart by the 10,000-meter-long sword light. At the same time, primordial chaos sword chi erupted, completely suppressing the blood-red flag. The evil aura in the air gradually scattered, and the blood-red flag, which was suppressed by the perfect blood, also gradually calmed down. Bang! Tang Yi, who was still in shock, was slapped away by Fang Chen. Trying to use the murderous aura of the flag to deal with me? Fang Chen's eyes were cold as he walked towards Tang's crocodile. He was a little angry. If he didn't have the perfect bloodline, he might have been killed by Tang's crocodile. Tang Yi didn't expect that Fang Chen could resist the evil chi of the flag so easily. He got up from the ground with blood all over his body. A look of horror appeared on his face as he kept retreating. It was an accident. I'll give you the flag now. After that, Tang Yi hurriedly threw out the flag in his hand. Fang Chen opened his palm, and the flag fell into his palm. Suddenly, a murderous aura drilled into his palm, trying to destroy his meridians, but it was suppressed by the perfect bloodline. Interesting. After a short contact, Fang Chen felt that the flag was extraordinary. It was very likely that it really came from the chaos battlefield. Fang Chen played with the flag and looked up at Tang Yi with interest. The latter trembled and hurriedly said, "I've given you the flag. Shouldn't you fulfill your promise and let me go?" Fang Chen didn't say anything. Tang Yi was a little anxious. His master was already rushing over, but the journey was long and it would take some time. In the meantime, he would be in extreme danger. He had to find a way to survive. He clenched his teeth and seemed to have made a decision. He didn't hold back anymore and told Fang Chen everything about the flag. Saint Emperor Hanbing and the others looked at each other. They didn't expect things to develop to this extent. Although they were very curious about the origin of the flag, they knew their own limits. Moreover, they were from the same sect, so it was impossible for them to attack Fang Chen. When they saw Fang Chen and Tang Yi looking at each other, they knew that the two were communicating through telepathy. Saint Emperor Hanbing said, "The flag is too important. There will definitely be people who will be jealous. Be careful. If anyone tries to do anything, kill them without mercy. Don't worry. Junior brother Fang is strong. Unless the number one on the Saint Emperor ranking makes a move, no one will have a chance," Saint Emperor Morbai said confidently. Bull Demon, Chu Xian, Luo Zi, and the others looked at the flag in Fang Chen's hand curiously. A blood-red flag with 3 vertical lines, 6 horizontal lines and 9 mixed lines. Where have I heard of it before? Bull Demon racked his brain and had a vague impression of it. After a while, Bull Demon slapped his head and his eyes lit up. That's the flag of command. His breathing became a little rushed. He looked at it seriously and was even more certain that the blood-red flag in Fang Chen's hand was the legendary command flag. The flag of command has appeared. Bull Demon was incomparably excited. At the same time, he was also very shocked. He had once heard the patriarch mention a secret in the clan. Their Bull Demon clan had a blue flag of command. It was said that the previous clan leader had brought it back from the chaotic battlefield. Since then, it had become the most precious treasure of the Bull Demon clan. Many ancestors of my Bull Demon clan have studied it for countless years and obtained a terrifying piece of information. Bull Demon thought to himself. The flag of command is actually the key to an ancient ruin. There are 3 of them. If we can gather all of them, we can open the ancient ruin and obtain the ancient inheritance. Moreover, they also found that the inheritance should have come from an invincible saint, or even a half-step chaotic supremacy. Although they couldn't confirm whether it was true or not, just the words half-step chaotic supremacy were enough to drive people crazy. Over the years, the Bull Demon clan had been searching for it, but to no avail. Who would have thought that the second flag of command would appear here? There are a total of 3 flags of command. One is blue, one is blood red, and the last one is purple. Bull Demon used a special method to send the news back to the clan. Then, he tried hard to remain calm, not wanting others to see any clues. After a while, Fang Chen retracted his gaze and seemed to be thinking. It seemed that he had obtained some important information from Tang Yi. It has something to do with the origins of the 5 elements. Fang Chen thought to himself. Tang Yi had told him that after obtaining the flag of command, a piece of information had appeared in his mind. This information was related to the origins of the 5 elements. Chapter 3559. Fang Chen's expression changed. He did not expect the commanding flag to be related to the Lord of Origin. What was the Lord of Origin? At the beginning of the chaos, the yin and yang qi were created and finally evolved into the 5 elements origin. As everyone knew, the 5 elements origin was the basic structure of the chaotic world and the foundation of the cultivation of Saint Realm warriors. Every Saint stage cultivator had more or less comprehended an origin. However, there were very few who could truly comprehend the origin to the extreme. Since ancient times, those who could comprehend the 5 elements origin to the extreme and condense a 9-story origin tower would be crowned with the title of Lord of Origin. In fact, there were at most 5 Lords of Origin in an era, each representing the 5 elements. The Lord of Origin was just a title that represented an origin that had reached the extreme. Therefore, only 5 people in each era could obtain this title. However, under normal circumstances, those who could obtain the title of Lord of Origin had most likely reached the level of an invincible saint or even a half-step chaotic sovereign. Fang Chen stared at Tang Yi with scorching eyes. After calming down, he was a little confused and wary of the latter. Why would such an important commanding flag be with him? Even his master, great ancestor Yi Kang, could not remain calm in the face of the inheritance of the Lord of Origin. What else are you hiding? Fang Chen questioned Tang Yi imposingly. Tang Yi's expression changed, and he said with some fear, I've said everything that needs to be said. You should fulfill your promise. Fang Chen shook his head. He did not believe what Tang Yi said. What do you want? Tang Yi retreated and glared at Fang Chen as he roared. Let me search your soul, Fang Chen said calmly. Since it was related to the Lord of Origin, he was not willing to let go of any important clues. Tang Yi was infuriated. Searching one's soul was the biggest taboo for a warrior. Once he opened his mind and let the other party search his soul, it was very likely that he would be killed. If Fang Chen secretly made a move, Tang Yi would definitely die. Furthermore, he had many secrets that no one knew about. How could he allow Fang Chen to search his soul? Master hasn't arrived yet. Tang Yi was anxious. He secretly tried to contact his master, but there was no response. He had no choice but to raise his head and pretend to be calm as he faced Fang Chen. I've already given you this flag and told you everything I know. I believe that a disciple of the heaven-defying alliance wouldn't go back on his word. Fang Chen sneered. He stretched out his hand and arrived in front of Tang Yi at lightning speed. The latter couldn't dodge in time and was grabbed by Fang Chen. Ah! A miserable scream came out from Tang Yi's mouth. His face was pale as he struggled desperately. I'll give you one last chance. Based on Fang Chen's past character, he would have killed Tang Yi a long time ago, but now, for the sake of the secret of the Origin Lord, he was in no hurry to take action. However, there was a limit to his patience. Swish! At that moment, a blinding light shot over from afar. Following that, the crowd heard a thunderous explosion. Seeing this, Fang Chen threw Tang Yi aside and waved his sword to block the attack. Poochie! With a slash of his sword, the cold sword aura forcefully shattered the layer of energy in front of him. Then, the tip of his sword was pointed at Bull Demon, and with infinite power, he stabbed out madly. Bull Demon Fist! Bull Demon's face was ferocious as he shouted loudly. At the same time, he transformed into his human form. He clenched his fists and waved them in front of his chest. The terrifying fist aura condensed into a huge fist shadow. Rip! The hidden star sword didn't stop and pierced into the fist shadow. Then, Fang Chen's wrist shook and instantly shattered the fist shadow. Bull Demon took this opportunity to retreat quickly and came to Tang Yi's side. He pulled him up and retreated to a safe area. You sneak attacked me. Fang Chen was furious. Bull Demon had just admitted defeat in front of everyone and swore that he would never attack him again for the rest of his life. Who would have thought that he would sneak attack him in the blink of an eye? Fang Chen, although Tang Er offended you first, he has paid a heavy price after all. Why do you have to be so lenient? Bull Demon said. Moreover, Tang Yi's master is Ancestor Yi Kang. If you alarm him, do you think the heaven-defying alliance can protect you? Xian and Luo Zi were confused. The Bull Demon they knew wasn't such a reckless person. But why did he lose his mind and become an enemy of Fang Chen? Xian's expression changed. He recalled that when the blood-red flag appeared, Bull Demon was absent-minded for a short moment. He guessed that Bull Demon had attacked him because of the blood-red flag. Could it be that Bull Demon recognized its origin? Xian's expression changed. He was more and more curious. What was the origin of the blood-red flag? Why would Bull Demon become an enemy of Fang Chen? He, Fang Chen sneered and stared at Bull Demon sharply. Bull Demon clan's genius, second on the Saint Emperor ranking list, Bull Demon. But I'm curious. Who gave you the courage to become an enemy of mine? Just now, he had single-handedly defeated the joint attack of Tang Crocodile and Bull Demon. Bull Demon admitted defeat on the spot, while Tang Yi was covered in blood and almost died. Bull Demon supported Tang Yi with one hand, as if he had forgotten what had just happened. He confronted Fang Chen, as if he was determined to save Tang Yi. Fang Chen, old ancestor Yi Kang has once shown kindness to my Ox Demon clan. Today, can you give my Ox Demon clan some face and let Tang Yi go? My Ox Demon clan will definitely thank you in the future. The Ox Demon brought up his clan, trying to force Fang Chen to back down. Shameless. Lu Lanshi gritted his teeth in anger. Zidi was so angry that her shoulders trembled. She couldn't help but want to attack. Saint Emperor Morbai and Saint Emperor Hanbing watched quietly. They had never doubted Fang Chen's strength. They believed that Fang Chen could solve all these problems. Boom. Fang Chen slashed out with his sword without warning. The sword light was extremely fast, approaching the speed of light. It instantly arrived in front of Bull Demon, who used the Bull Demon fist to block it. Bang! The combat strength of the two was not on the same level at all. Bull Demon was sent flying in one blow. Thump, thump, thump. After he stabilized himself, he looked down and saw that the bones in his fist were broken and blood was spurting out. He endured the pain and gritted his teeth. Fang Chen, Ancestor Yi Kang is already on his way. He will be here soon. If you continue to be stubborn, you will regret it. Hearing Bull Demon's words, everyone understood. It seemed that Bull Demon's attack had something to do with Ancestor Yi Kang's arrival. However, only Bull Demon himself knew that although Ancestor Yi Kang had sent him a message through the Bull Demon clan to ask him to help Tang Yi, the real reason why Bull Demon was willing to become enemies with Fang Chen was the commanding flag. Tang Yi knew a lot. Bull Demon might be able to get some clues from him. This was his real purpose. Brother Bull Demon, I can't thank you enough. Chapter 3560. Tang Yi was covered in blood and had lost his fighting strength. If Fang Chen continued to attack, he would not be able to fight back. Therefore, he only had one thought now, and that was to stall for time. Fang Chen, you're going back on your words. Tang Yi was furious. In order to survive, he did not hesitate to take out the commanding flag and told the latter the secret. Who would have thought that Fang Chen would go back on his words and still attack him? I didn't expect that a disciple of the heaven-defying alliance would be so hypocritical. If you kill me, my master will not let you go. Tang Yi said angrily. On the side, Bull Demon also spoke. He claimed to be the descendant of the ancient Bull Demon clan and said, Brother Fang, I admit that you are strong, but please let Brother Tang Yi go for the sake of my Bull Demon clan. How about it? It seemed to be a negotiation, but it was actually a threat. Fang Chen snorted coldly, not giving Bull Demon any face. Hunyuan sword art. Fang Chen displayed the Hunyuan sword art. terrifying sword light condensed in the air one after another, exuding a terrifying sword aura. Fang Chen leaped up and floated in the air. He stood on the densely packed sword lights. A terrifying light shot out from his eyes as he looked down at the two of them. Seeing Fang Chen's attack, Bull Demon was shocked and displayed the Bull Demon Fist without hesitation. Bull Demon Fist. Bull Demon roared and merged his origin strength with the Bull Demon Fist perfectly. His combat strength skyrocketed as his fist shadow rushed towards Fang Chen. Poochie. However, in merely a single exchange, the tens of thousands of sword rays pierced through his fist shadows. A frightening power spread out, causing Ox Demon's body to tremble. Break. Bull Demon roared into the sky and let out a beastly roar. He turned into his original form and stomped his hooves on the ground. His huge body rushed towards Fang Chen and stomped his front foot on Fang Chen. In the distance, everyone trembled in fear. The power of this stomp was extraordinary. An ordinary Saint Realm expert would not be able to withstand it at all. They would definitely die. What a terrifying Bull Demon. Xian and Luo Zi were also shocked. Their impression of Demon Ox wasn't this strong. The Demon Ox in front of them had overturned their understanding. As expected of the strongest genius of the ancient Demon Ox clan. I heard that the hope of the clan's revival is all placed on him. There are even rumors that the Demon Ox clan is secretly plotting something. If it succeeds, the Demon Ox will be able to step into the invincible Saint Realm, Jiyu Fu whispered. He was a disciple of the ancient clan. The upper echelons of the ancient clan and the ancient Demon Bull clan were both ancient remnant clans. Their influence was outstanding, and there were some connections between the upper echelons. Therefore, he knew this secret. However, it is somewhat reckless of him to make an enemy out of Fang Chen. Jiyu Fu muttered. Lin Yang was already numb, his heart cold. He was glad that Fang Chen hadn't killed him just now, otherwise how could he still be standing here alive? In the distance, those ordinary disciples were even more shocked to the point that they couldn't be any more shocked. Poochie. Even if Demon Ox used a divine skill like the Demon Ox Fist, it was useless. Fang Chen's strength was too strong. His battle strength was comparable to a 7th-order saint. With a flick of his wrist, a 10,000-foot-long sword light pierced through Ox Demon's defense and nailed him to the ground. Ox Demon's huge body was drenched in blood. In just a few short seconds, his vitality had been greatly damaged and he was dispirited. Brother Demon Ox. Tang Yi retreated, looking at Demon Ox and exclaimed. Before his master came, Demon Ox was his only hope of survival. Who would have thought that Fang Chen would dare to kill him? Fang Chen, are you really going to kill us all? Tang Yi roared hysterically. He didn't believe that Fang Chen would offend his master, old ancestor Yi Kang, and the Demon Ox clan at the same time. Fang Chen ignored Tang Yi's cries. With a slash of his sword, a terrifying sword light wrapped around Demon Ox's body. The latter struggled and roared ferociously, but to no avail. Fang Chen's face was cold. With a flick of his finger, Demon Ox's body was instantly pierced through by thousands of swords. I can't accept this. Demon Ox's unwilling voice came from the blood mist. Boom. Demon Ox's body exploded after being pierced by thousands of swords, shocking everyone. Oh my god. At this moment, everyone exclaimed. The second strongest person on the Saint Royal list, the peerless genius of the ancient Demon Ox clan, Demon Ox, was dead. Moreover, the person who killed him was only a 3rd-order holy king. This was beyond everyone's imagination. Ah, you killed Brother Demon Ox. The ancient Demon Ox clan will not let you go. Tang Yi was obviously frightened. He screamed crazily and retreated. His eyes were filled with fear and his heart was trembling. Master, save me. In a hurry, Tang Yi sent out his last call for help. Whoosh. Fang Chen flicked his wrist and took away Demon Ox's Sumeru ring. After all, he was a genius of the Demon Ox clan and should have many good things. As for the revenge of the Demon Ox clan, he did not care. After this matter was over, he would enter the Dao Palace to cultivate. With his potential, it was only a matter of time before he stepped into the Saint Realm. As long as he did not leave the Myriad Path Realm, even the Demon Ox clan could not do anything to him. Furthermore, Fang Chen hated threats the most. Not only did Ox Demon threaten him, but he even tried to sneak an attack on him after he admitted defeat in front of everyone, even though he had let him live. It could only be said that the evils brought on themselves were the hardest to bear. When he attacked Fang Chen and protected Tang Yi, the outcome was already decided. This, even Frost Saint Emperor and the others did not expect the outcome to be like this. Their expressions changed as they thought about the consequences of Demon Ox's death. Kill. Since Tang Yi did not want to tell them the secret of the Origin Lord, they could only kill him. No, you can't kill me. Tang Yi, who was retreating, tripped over Demon Ox's body. He felt the aura of death coming and prayed for his master to come quickly. Poochie. The dazzling sword light cut off his arm as if it was cutting glass. Blood spurted out and Tang Yi no longer looked like a human. You will regret this. Tang Yi, who was in despair, let out an angry roar. My master will exterminate your 9 generations and make sure you never reincarnate. At least, you won't be able to see that scene. Now, Tang Yi had completely lost his combat strength. Fang Chen raised the star-hidden sword. With a light wave, he could end Tang Yi's life. Stop, thief. However, at this moment, in the distant sky, the fiery red void was instantly torn apart. A terrifying aura swept across the world and burst out. Everyone was shocked. Old Ancestor Yi Kang had arrived. At this time, Old Ancestor Yi Kang did not care so much. He directly activated his supreme technique, forcibly tore the void at the entrance of the demonic Skyfire domain and entered it. When he saw his disciple, Tang Yi, he was even more furious. He punched out across the endless void. Boom. Boom. Chapter 3561. The sky instantly darkened, and dark clouds covered the sky. The void collapsed, and cracks spread out. The triple origin fire in the air spun wildly, forming a terrifying vortex. The demonic fire domain instantly turned into a furnace. Everyone was shocked. It was obvious that the person who came was Tang Yi's master, Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Sure enough, after the terrifying fist light dissipated, an old man with wrinkles appeared from the void crack, surpassing the speed of sound. As soon as he appeared, he brought a huge pressure to the world. Fang Chen couldn't help but take a few steps back. Seeing this, Frost Saint Emperor and the other three's faces suddenly changed, and they exclaimed, Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Xian, Luo Zi, and the others also took a few steps back, fearing that Old Ancestor Yi Kang would be angry and implicate them. Master. Tang Yi almost burst into tears. At the most critical moment, his master had appeared. His hanging heart was finally at ease. Buzz. Old Ancestor Yi Kang held Tang Yi with one hand. A little starlight flickered, constantly injecting power into Tang Yi's body. At the same time, he fed Tang Yi a healing pill. After a while, Tang Yi's face became a little ruddy. Although his body hadn't recovered yet, his injuries had obviously improved, and his life was no longer in danger. No matter who it is, no matter how great his background is, I will avenge you. Old Ancestor Yi Kang gently patted Tang Yi's shoulder and said slowly, Master, it's this guy. Not only did he want to kill me, but he also took away my flag. Brother Ox Demon of the Ox Demon clan died tragically in his hands in order to save me. With Old Ancestor Yi Kang around, Tang Yi was fearless and began to complain. After listening, Old Ancestor Yi Kang's expression didn't change. He looked at Fang Chen with a condescending attitude. In his opinion, as long as it wasn't the invincible sage of the Heaven-Defying Alliance, others were no different from ants. When did the Heaven-Defying Alliance's disciples become so arrogant? Old Ancestor Yi Kang whispered. Frost Saint Emperor and the others trembled in their hearts. Tang Yi almost died, and Old Ancestor Yi Kang was famous for being protective. He would never let this matter go. Now, they could only pray that the higher-ups of the Heaven-Defying Alliance would arrive quickly. Otherwise, it would be difficult to bear the anger of Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Senior Yi Kang, Frost Saint Emperor cupped his fists. He was a top outer sect disciple of the Heaven-Defying Alliance and also the leader of this mission. It was only right for him to stand up and resist the pressure. Old Ancestor Yi Kang flicked his sleeve and slapped Frost Saint Emperor away. I don't want to hear any explanations. I only know that my disciple almost died in the hands of your heaven-defying alliance, so I need an explanation. If they didn't give him a satisfactory explanation, he wouldn't mind going on a killing spree and killing all 5 disciples of the heaven-defying alliance. Xian and Zi shook their heads. Was a rising star going to die just like that? No matter how heaven-defying Fang Chen was, it was impossible to challenge Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Old Ancestor Yi Kang stared at Fang Chen. At first, he looked down on him, but the more he looked at him, the more frightened he became. 3rd level Holy King? Killed Bull Demon and severely injured Tang Yi? Old Ancestor Yi Kang couldn't believe his eyes. After a short thought, a thought emerged in his mind. He believed that Fang Chen must have a secret treasure or a heaven-defying bloodline. I have never been able to touch the threshold of the half-step chaotic supreme realm. If I can get his bloodline, I might have a chance to become the Origin Lord. Old Ancestor Yi Kang thought to himself. He raised his palm and said indifferently, "Where is the flag?" He faced everyone with the attitude of a top powerhouse. In fact, even among the invincible saints, he was a top existence. Few people dared to provoke him. Fang Chen's forehead was dripping with sweat. His body couldn't bear the pressure from Old Ancestor Yi Kang. A cracking sound came out, and his bones cracked. He gritted his teeth and persisted. "You have severely injured my disciple. You will pay with your life." As soon as his voice fell, Old Ancestor Yi Kang made his move. With a flick of his finger, the entire void trembled. The triple origin fire was directly defeated. A terrifying airwave swept across the world and instantly arrived in front of Fang Chen. Boom! Fang Chen had almost no resistance. The sword Dao armor on his body shattered directly. At the same time, his body flew out upside down. Rip! Blood sprayed and covered his whole body. Fang Chen felt his internal organs trembling. His meridians reversed, and he was seriously injured. Huh! After feeling Fang Chen's blood, Old Ancestor Yi Kang's eyes flickered. He was even more certain that Fang Chen's bloodline was very heaven-defying. He licked his dry lips and took another step toward Fang Chen. "Bastard, weren't you very arrogant just now? Aren't you like a dog now, waiting to be slaughtered?" Tang Yi Kang gloated and constantly mocked Fang Chen. "Master, spare his dog life. I want him to taste all the poisons in the world, and then kill him with my own hands. Not only that, but I will also exterminate all the people related to him." Tang Yi Kang went mad. After walking through the gates of hell, his hatred for Fang Chen was unprecedented. Hiss! Fang Chen, who fell to the ground, quickly climbed up. However, an even more terrifying big hand suppressed him directly, making him a little breathless. Everyone thought that Old Ancestor Yi Kang would directly kill Fang Chen, but they were wrong. What's going on? Someone noticed that something was wrong. In front of Fang Chen, blood continued to gather, forming a blood-red ball in the blink of an eye. Damn it! Fang Chen's face was hideous. He tried his best to stop it, but it was useless. Old Ancestor Yi Kang was too strong. He was no match for him at all. What a powerful bloodline! Old Ancestor Yi Kang stared greedily at the blood-red ball. Fang Chen felt that the blood in his body was rapidly draining away. If this continues, he will definitely die. Old Ancestor Yi Kang, your disciple, Tang Yi, is not dead. Please give face to the heaven-defying alliance and let junior brother Fang live. At the critical moment, Saint Emperor Bing stood up. Get lost. What responded to him was a terrifying attack that directly sent Saint Emperor Bing and the other 3 flying. As I said, no matter who he is, no matter what he relies on, no one can save him if he dares to attack my disciple, Old Ancestor Yi Kang said calmly. The reason why he didn't kill Fang Chen was that the latter's blood was crucial to him. Saint Sage. Fang Chen felt his body weakening. He couldn't sit still and wait for death. Enduring the pain, he took out the Saint Sage and put the last 5 energy blood crystals into it. Boom! The Saint Sage attacked with all its might, trying to rescue Fang Chen. Boom! Boom! The Saint Sage's attack didn't pose a threat to Old Ancestor Yi Kang, but it was a puppet. As long as it wasn't completely destroyed, it would continue to attack. This is really annoying. Chapter 3562. The Holy Kill was personally refined by the Blood Cavalry Sage. Its toughness was extraordinary. At this moment, the Holy Kill successfully restrained Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Fang Chen's life was temporarily out of danger, but he still didn't let his guard down. He secretly arranged the Demon Slayer formation. Old Ancestor Yi Kang was the strongest among the rogue cultivators. He was also a genuine invincible sage. His combat effectiveness was too strong. Fang Chen couldn't resist at all. Facing Old Ancestor Yi Kang, Fang Chen didn't even have the confidence to make a move. At this moment, he could only hope that the Holy Kill could delay a little more time. However, he was using the Demon Slayer formation to resist Old Ancestor Yi Kang. As long as he could delay until the Heaven-defying Alliance's higher-ups arrived, his life would be saved. In the distance, many disciples of the sect had retreated to the edge of the magic Skyfire domain. They watched this amazing scene from a distant void. Too strong. Is this the pressure of an invincible sage? A sage can't be humiliated. Fang Chen is courting death. Old Ancestor Yi Kang came in anger to avenge his disciple. If the Heaven-defying Alliance's higher-ups don't come, Fang Chen will definitely die. Many people weren't optimistic about Fang Chen's chances. In this desperate situation, even an ordinary invincible sage might not be able to withstand Old Ancestor Yi Kang's angry blow. Xian and the others originally thought that Fang Chen was dead. Who would have thought that he could actually come up with such a method? That's the Holy Kill. Xian exclaimed. He had once seen records of the Holy Kill in the sect's ancient books. I didn't expect Fang Chen to have such a legendary puppet like the Holy Kill. It's incredible, but, after a short while, Xian noticed the power of the Holy Kill. He shook his head gently and sighed. It's a pity that such a young genius with the potential to step into the chaotic supreme realm in the future has fallen just like that. Luo Zi looked over in confusion. Xian explained, the saint puppet is a kind of high-level puppet. As long as enough energy crystals are placed on it, it can release the pressure of a saint. It's a pity that Fang Chen doesn't have that many energy crystals. The saint puppet in front of us is at most a 5th rank Holy Emperor. However, due to its special properties, it can withstand a saint's attack. Boom! Old Ancestor Yi Kang's angry strike directly blasted the sacred puppet away, but the latter didn't feel any pain at all. The crystal in the energy center was quickly refined, and a vast power emerged again. It tirelessly rushed towards Old Ancestor Yi Kang, doing everything it could to stop his attack. Courting death. Old Ancestor Yi Kang sneered. He immediately stretched out his hand, and a terrifying power swept across the world. As his palm pressed down, it completely shrouded the Saint Kill. Crack! There was a crisp sound in the Holy Lion's body. The internal energy could no longer operate. The energy center was also sealed by Old Ancestor Yi Kang. Rip! Almost at the same time, Old Ancestor Yi Kang's other hand stretched out and grasped the energy center of the Saint Kill. The remaining energy in the energy crystal was instantly exhausted. Boom! The Saint Kill fell to the ground, losing its fighting power. A little Saint King actually has the Saint puppet. Interesting. Old Ancestor Yi Kang licked his dry lips and said eerily, with your potential, you should have a high status in the Heaven-defying Alliance. If I kill you, those old farts will definitely be distressed. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. With a wave of his hand, Old Ancestor Yi Kang put away the Saint puppet. For him, the Saint puppet was naturally useless, but he could give it to his disciple, Tang Yi Kang. As long as there were enough energy crystals, the Saint puppet could exert the power of an invincible saint. With the Saint puppet, his disciple would have the protection of an invincible saint. He felt much more at ease. After putting away the Saint puppet, Old Ancestor Yi Kang stepped out and came in front of Fang Chen. Boy, I, Old Ancestor Yi Kang, have traversed the Godsfall battlefield and killed countless people. However, you are the first Saint King in the past 100 years who can make me personally take action. With Old Ancestor Yi Kang's identity, if he wanted to deal with a Saint King, as long as he raised his arm and shouted, there would be countless followers working for him. There was no need for him to take action at all. However, today, Fang Chen caused some trouble for him. To be praised by old ancestor Yi Kang, one could imagine how monstrous Fang Chen was. Unfortunately, this monstrous genius was destined to fall today. Die! Old ancestor Yi Kang no longer talked nonsense. His big hand pressed down directly, wanting to smash Fang Chen's head. Boom! 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 Almost at the same time, Fang Chen endured the pressure of a saint and stomped his foot. In an instant, with him as the center, the ground released dense rays of light. These rays of light soared into the sky and intertwined, forming a majestic array formation. The array formation was filled with an extremely vast power. This power had a subtle restraining effect on old ancestor Yi Kang's power. Demon Slayer Array. Fang Chen yelled in a low voice and devoted himself to the Demon Slayer Array. Above his forehead, the origin star flickered. His hands were pressed against the array's core. Crash! Pieces of fire essence flew out of his robe and sank into the array base. Suddenly, the power of the Demon Slayer Array increased again. In the face of absolute strength, everything is fleeting. Old ancestor Yi Kang looked down at Fang Chen condescendingly. His big hand continued to press down. Terrifying rays of light swept across the earth, resisting the Demon Slayer Array. Rumble. The Demon Slayer Array shook and was about to shatter at any time. Fang Chen was also under great pressure. With a bang, he knelt on one knee, and a trace of blood escaped from the corner of his mouth. Buzz. When his blood dripped on the ground, it was instantly absorbed by the Demon Slayer Array. In an instant, the Demon Slayer Array seemed to have undergone earth-shaking changes. The restraining power became more and more powerful. For a moment, old ancestor Yi Kang felt like he was in a different world. Break for me. Old ancestor Yi Kang felt a little strange. He shook his head vigorously, groaned, and pressed down with his other hand. The power of both hands soared suddenly. The Demon Slayer Array couldn't withstand the pressure, and countless cracks appeared. Poochie. Fang Chen vomited blood. He was severely injured, and he relied entirely on his faith to support himself. Die for me. At this moment, old ancestor Yi Kang also realized that Fang Chen's potential was much stronger than he imagined. He must kill Fang Chen. Otherwise, once the higher-ups of the heaven-defying alliance arrived, it would be troublesome. Old ancestor Yi Kang released the pressure of a sage. The Demon Slayer Array couldn't resist and collapsed directly. Fang Chen's body was suppressed by the big hand. No! Lu Lanshi screamed. Han Bing Holy Emperor and the others were also burning with anger. Is he dead? Xian and the others widened their eyes and stared at the shattered Demon Slayer Array, wanting to confirm Fang Chen's life or death. Catcher. At this moment, the void changed again. A big hand appeared out of thin air and slammed down, instantly neutralizing old ancestor Yi Kang's attack. At the same time, a very majestic voice sounded. Chapter 3563. Shocking thunder. The deafening explosion resounded through the sky, and the shocking sound in the void echoed in everyone's ears for a long time. After the big hand that appeared in the void defeated old ancestor Yi Kang's attack, it swung its hand backward. The origin power surged and turned into a bewitching flower that quickly rushed towards old ancestor Yi Kang. Seeing this, old ancestor Yi Kang's expression suddenly changed. His hands kept forming seals while his whole body was covered in armor. His body soared into the air, trying to avoid the bewitching flower. Boom! In the end, the bewitching flower collided with old ancestor Yi Kang's hands and burst open. The origin power covered his hands like a tide, emitting a corrosive sound. Damn it! Old ancestor Yi Kang shook violently and pulled his hands out. He then gritted his teeth, crossed the origin power, and rushed towards Fang Chen. He seemed to already know the identity of the person who came and was a little afraid. He wanted to completely strangle Fang Chen before this person's real body arrived. Go to hell! Old ancestor Yi Kang growled and his speed soared to the extreme. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Fang Chen. At this time, Fang Chen had not recovered from the heavy pressure just now. He was unable to resist old ancestor Yi Kang's attack at all. The latter raised his hand and slapped Fang Chen's head, wanting to destroy his body and soul. "You're courting death." In the void crack, a shocking voice came again. However, this time, there was no big hand to help Fang Chen resist old ancestor Yi Kang's attack. Obviously, the people from the Heaven-Defying Alliance were still far away from the magic Skyfire territory. It was difficult for them to launch a second long-distance attack in such a short time. Although he was furious, he could not stop old ancestor Yi Kang's attack. "If he dies, I will kill you," the people from the Heaven-Defying Alliance threatened. However, old ancestor Yi Kang did not care so much. He was a rogue cultivator. After killing Fang Chen, he just needed to hide. Unless the legendary Heaven-Defying Alliance Master or the 3 Palace Masters of the Dao Palace attacked together, no one could kill him. Therefore, he was fearless and stubborn. "Old man Lei, you can't stop it." Seeing that Fang Chen's head was about to be crushed by Yi Kang, he turned his head, looked at the void crack, and sneered. The hearts of the Frost Saint Emperor and the others trembled. They seemed to have guessed who it was. "Palace Master Lei." Zi Dai cried out in alarm. She was extremely anxious and stamped her feet. She was praying that the Thunder Palace Lord could save Fang Chen. Xian and the others had already left. Invincible saints came one after another. The battle here had clearly exceeded their scope of understanding. "Am I going to die?" Fang Chen was not willing to give up. He gritted his teeth and circulated the blood in his body. His origin star collided, producing dazzling sparks. He was burning his blood essence, wanting to make a final desperate struggle. "It's useless." Old ancestor Yi Kang sneered. Burning blood essence in front of him was simply too stupid. "If I want you to die, no one can stop me." His hand continued to press down until it was about to touch Fang Chen's head. The latter's body trembled as if all his bones were about to shatter. A terrifying power was wreaking havoc on his body. Buzz. Suddenly, a layer of ripples appeared in front of Fang Chen's head, wrapping around old ancestor Yi Kang's palm in an instant. The ripples rippled, and with a gentle force, it removed old ancestor Yi Kang's power and transferred Fang Chen's body out of thin air. "Old ancestor Yi Kang, I trust you have been well since we last met." At the end of the earth, a bald old man, holding a crutch, said with a smile. He took a step forward and used spatial shrink to arrive in front of ancestral patriarch Yi Kang. He waved his walking stick gently, and Fang Chen, who had been teleported away, landed lightly in front of Holy Emperor Frost and the others. "Junior brother Fang." The Frost Saint Emperor and the others hurriedly supported Fang Chen. After seeing the bald old man, they breathed a sigh of relief. "9 Saint Palace Master." Luo Zi and the others exclaimed. Only Xian was slightly calm, but his mind was filled with complicated thoughts. He didn't expect the Palace Master to come at the critical moment and save Fang Chen. "9 Saint Palace Master, are you trying to stop me?" Old ancestor Yi Kang was a little angry. He wanted to kill Fang Chen before Palace Master Lei arrived. Who would have thought that 9 Saint Palace Master would come and insist on protecting Fang Chen? "Is this the decision of your 9 Saint Palace?" In order to kill Fang Chen, old ancestor Yi Kang didn't hesitate to break ties with the Heaven-Defying Alliance. His face was gloomy as he stared at 9 Saint Palace Master. Palace Master Lei was still some distance away from the magic Skyfire domain. He had to speed up. 9 Saint Palace Master was wearing a white robe, his head was bald, and he was leaning on a crutch. From a distance, he looked no different from a Buddhist expert. However, only those who truly understood him knew how terrifying 9 Saint Palace Master was. 9 Saint Palace and the Heaven-Defying Alliance are considered allies. Besides, Palace Master Lei and I were once close friends. I naturally have to do what he entrusted to me. 9 Saint Palace Master's intention was very clear. He wanted to protect Fang Chen. With him around, old ancestor Yi Kang would never be able to kill Fang Chen. Old ancestor Yi Kang was furious, but there was nothing he could do. Although he wasn't afraid of 9 Saint Palace Master, he couldn't defeat the latter. Good, very good. Although old ancestor Yi Kang gritted his teeth in anger, there was nothing he could do. Ha ha ha, it's really lively. In the sky, there were several sounds of breaking through the air. A violent aura swept over, and soon, several figures appeared. At the edge of the magic sky-fire domain, many disciples of the sect were completely stunned. Usually, they wouldn't see an invincible saint, but today, they saw many legendary figures one after another. It was too shocking. Purple Robe sect master, ancient clan leader, and other top experts arrived one after another. Old ancestor Yi Kang, let the younger generation settle the grudges between themselves. You are an invincible saint. How dare you lower yourself to deal with a young disciple? Purple Robe sect master said coldly. Many top forces had an agreement that invincible saints couldn't casually attack weak martial artists. Otherwise, if someone went crazy and slaughtered a sect and then escaped, the order of the Godfall battlefield would be messed up. Tumph old ancestor Yi Kang snorted coldly. He grabbed the half-crippled Tang crocodile and was ready to leave. Palace Master Lei was about to arrive, and the situation was extremely unfavorable for him. He had to leave. What? You bullied my heaven-defying alliance's disciples, and you want to leave just like that? However, it was too late. Palace Master Lei had arrived. Whoosh, whoosh. On the horizon, a seemingly ordinary martial artist suddenly appeared. He approached from afar and appeared on the route that old ancestor Yi Kang wanted to leave. Everyone saw that around Palace Master Lei's body, the three origin fires automatically gathered. The aura of the origin in the void also madly poured into his body. Even the order of this world was changing invisibly. This was the power of a half-step chaotic sovereign. Frost Saint Emperor and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Fang Chen's pale face also showed a smile. However, when he looked at old ancestor Yi Kang, his killing intent soared. It's okay. Chapter 3564. Palace Master Lei had come in a life-and-death situation. Fang Chen's expression gradually calmed down. The blood in his body was circulating, healing his injuries. However, the one who attacked was old ancestor Yi Kang. The latter was a genuine invincible sage and one of the best among them. Therefore, Fang Chen's injuries were quite serious. Junior brother Fang, how are you? Saint Emperor Han Bing and the others also came to Fang Chen's side and asked with concern. Everything that had happened today had far exceeded the scope of their understanding. Their hearts were also shaken. Fortunately, Palace Master Lei had arrived, and all the problems had been solved. In the distance, the ordinary disciples of the sect had long been scared out of their wits and had left the demonic Skyfire domain. The huge demonic Skyfire domain was filled with a terrifying pressure, causing people to feel suffocated. Especially when Palace Master Lei had just arrived, the entire place felt as though Mount Tai was pressing down on them. The origin energy in the air was even scarier. Only a few of the top 10 experts on the Saint Emperor list stayed in the demonic Skyfire domain. They could not wait to see the earth-shattering battle that was about to happen. The heaven-defying alliance was the undisputed overlord of the Godfall battlefield. Their disciples were even more outstanding and they swept away all those of the same cultivation realm. As for the Dao Palace, it was an important location of the heaven-defying alliance. Nearly all of the peak and most monstrous geniuses of the world were gathered there. As one of the three palace masters of the Dao Palace, Palace Master Lei was one of the higher-ups of the heaven-defying alliance. He was also a genuine half-step chaotic sovereign. Buzz! He strolled over and with a flick of his sleeve, he dissolved old ancestor Yi Kang's terrifying attack. Then, a look of displeasure appeared on his face as he stared at old ancestor Yi Kang. Give me an explanation. The Palace Master of the Thunder Palace said calmly. However, his voice contained an irresistible pressure. Palace Master Lei. After seeing Palace Master Lei, old ancestor Yi Kang gave up his determination to kill Fang Chen. His expression changed, but he finally stabilized his body and said in a low voice, logically speaking, I shouldn't intervene in the duel between the younger generation of disciples. However, the heaven-defying alliance violated the rules first. What's wrong with me teaching them a lesson? Old ancestor Yi Kang pushed the responsibility to the heaven-defying alliance. He believed that the reason why Fang Chen and others were able to find the fire essence mineral vein first was because the heaven-defying alliance secretly informed them. This also caused everyone to be at a disadvantage in the competition among the younger generation. This is a battle between the younger generation. Life and death are up to fate. But as an invincible saint, you openly interfered and even tried to kill a disciple of my heaven-defying alliance. Do you really think my heaven-defying alliance is a pushover? Clearly, Palace Master Lei was a little angry. Palace Master Lei, my disciple is seriously injured, and his cultivation path is almost interrupted. On the other hand, your heaven-defying alliance disciple has not suffered any substantial damage. Why don't we both take a step back and stop here? What do you think? Old Ancestor Yi Kang was obviously a little afraid of Palace Master Lei. After all, the latter was the Palace Master of the Dao Palace. He was not someone ordinary people could compare with. If it were any other sect leader, Old Ancestor Yi Kang would have definitely fought. The Thunder Palace Master was thoroughly enraged. He raised his hand and instantly, the void before him was in a mess. The three primordial flames gathered together and formed a horrifying vortex. Within the vortex, there was a gigantic hand that brought along an invincible might as it slammed out. Block it. Seeing this, Old Ancestor Yi Kang's expression changed drastically. He channeled all his strength and blasted out with both fists. They collided with the majestic hand in the vortex, making a deafening sound. A grey power escaped from the majestic hand and instantly wrapped around Old Ancestor Yi Kang's fist. In an instant, Old Ancestor Yi Kang let out an angry roar. At the same time, he retreated abruptly and stared at Palace Master Lei vigilantly. That is, Old Ancestor Yi Kang recognized the grey aura. His expression was solemn to the extreme. You have cultivated the chaotic force? The chaotic force was the most powerful force in this world. It was said that it was born when the chaos was first born. Under normal circumstances, even an invincible sage would find it difficult to master the chaotic force. Only the legendary chaotic supremes could master it. Half-step chaotic supremes. Old Ancestor Yi Kang's face turned gloomy. He wanted to know what the chaotic force meant. He stared at Palace Master Lei vigilantly. He already had the intention to escape. I didn't expect you to have taken that step. Not far away, Xian and the others were also exclaiming. After the Battle of Gods, the foundation of this world was damaged. It was difficult to cultivate. Strictly speaking, invincible sages were already considered the top powerhouses in this world. However, there were still some outstanding ones who had cultivated the chaotic force. Such powerhouses were known as half-step chaotic supremes. There was once a rumor that the heaven-defying Alliance Master was a half-step chaotic supremes. His strength could sweep across the Battle of Gods. However, now, a Palace Master of the Dao Palace could reach such a realm. It was truly shocking. This matter is my fault. After I return, I will definitely teach my disciples a lesson. At the same time, I will also send a generous gift to express my apology. Old Ancestor Yi Kang lowered his head. There was no other way. Palace Master Lei was too domineering. He would fight at the slightest disagreement. With the chaotic force, Palace Master Lei was not afraid of Old Ancestor Yi Kang at all. Apologize. Palace Master Lei walked towards Old Ancestor Yi Kang step by step. His face was cold. He did not accept the apology. If you really push me too far, I will fight to the death. Even if I die, I will drag many disciples of the heaven-defying alliance down with me. Old Ancestor Yi Kang gritted his teeth and threatened. He was a lone cultivator. He had no worries. Once he went crazy, he would do everything he could to slaughter most of the disciples of the heaven-defying alliance. In the end, even if he died, the heaven-defying alliance's loss would be too great. Therefore, he grasped the key point and directly stated it. At the same time, the power around him dissipated. He was ready to fight to the death. Rumble. In the distance, the sound of the air breaking came. One figure after another arrived. These people carried a tyrannical aura that made people's hair stand on end. Xian and the others were unable to resist the power that dissipated in the air and kept retreating. The leaders of the other top forces had all arrived. Along with the Purple Robe Sect Master, Palace Master 9 Saint, clan leader of the Jiyu clan, and others who had arrived earlier, everyone present could be said to be the top group of experts of this era in the Battle of Gods. Palace Master Lei, the little guy from the heaven-defying alliance, is fine. How about we both take a step back? At their level, if they really attacked without caring about anything, it was very likely that the world would collapse, the void would shatter, and the Battle of Gods would be pushed into the abyss. Chapter 3565. The demonic fire domain was originally a dangerous place in the God's Fall battlefield. It contained 3 types of origin fires, which were very important to martial artists. If they could successfully merge and absorb them, they could break through the shackles. After the various top factions discovered the fire essence mineral vein, they quickly came to a unanimous decision. The upper echelons of the various sects were not to interfere in this matter. All matters regarding the mining rights of the mineral vein were to be left to the younger generation. Of course, many giants also had a rule that the disciples of the heaven-defying alliance were not to interfere. Otherwise, it would be unfair. Once the disciples of the heavenly Tao Palace were involved, who could compete with them? No one had thought that things would develop to this point. Fang Chen, who no one thought highly of, had crushed all the geniuses with his 3rd-level Holy King cultivation. He had even killed Demon Ox, who was 2nd on the Saint Royal ranking. Apparently, his actions had completely infuriated the ancient Bull Demon clan. Moo! With a bestial roar, the pitch-black patriarch of the Ox Demon clan arrived. His eyes were scarlet and he was extremely furious. He glared at Fang Chen, itching to tear him to shreds. Among the many giants present, only he fully supported old ancestor Yi Kang. Demon Ox is the hope of our clan's rise. Killing him is killing our clan's hope. Palace Master Lei, I hope you can give me an explanation. The Demon Ox clan leader was deranged. The 2 horns on his forehead emitted a terrifying light. Even in the face of a half-step chaotic sovereign, he was fearless. Palace Master Lei had already understood what had happened. When he heard the Demon Ox clan leader's words, he snorted and said disdainfully, Fang Chen has already spared Demon Ox's life. However, Demon Ox is unrepentant and wants to kill Fang Chen. I can only say that he asked for it. In that case, there is nothing more to say. Today, I will avenge Demon Ox. As soon as he finished speaking, the Demon Ox clan leader attacked. Elder Yi Kang attacked with him. The 2 invincible saints joined forces to fight against Palace Master Lei. In an instant, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The entire demonic fire domain trembled. Buzz! In the void, an illusory door suddenly appeared. Then, the remaining warriors were transported out of the demonic fire domain by 9 Saint Palace Master and the others. After that, the 9 Saint Palace Master and the Purple Robe Sect Master joined forces to seal off the demonic Skyfire region. Outside the demonic Skyfire domain, countless cultivators goggled as they stared ahead. Suddenly, Xian and the others appeared one after another. What exactly happened inside? Someone asked. Xian was silent. Luo Zi's expression was extremely gloomy. Jiyu Fu didn't even think about it, and directly left to return to the ancient family. As for Lin Yang, his expression changed as he looked in the direction of the demonic Skyfire region. The battle between the top experts was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he could watch it, he would definitely gain something. Unfortunately, the magic Skyfire region had been sealed and he was unable to probe the situation inside. Everyone, please leave quickly. After a long while, Xian said something, and the others left in succession. The crowd instantly burst into an uproar. What happened in the demonic dome fire region wasn't hidden from everyone. After they heard about the shocking battle, a huge wave of commotion rose. What? Patriarch Bull Demon and Patriarch Yi Kang joined forces to battle Palace Master Lei of the Great Tao Palace? This news quickly caused an uproar in the God's Fall battlefield, causing a huge commotion. After the initial shock, everyone also felt the seriousness of the matter. The energy fluctuations from the battle between the top experts wasn't something that ordinary people could withstand. Once the seal of the demonic dome fire region was broken, they would definitely die. Hence, they chose to leave. In the blink of an eye, only Saint Emperor Bing and the other three were left in the wasteland. They looked at each other. "Where's junior brother Fang?" Ziddy was puzzled. "Palace Master 9 Saint teleported us out just now. Why didn't junior brother Fang come out?" Could it be, all of a sudden, the four of them thought of a possibility, and their expressions changed drastically. With Palace Master Lei here, they shouldn't secretly attack junior brother Fang. Saint Emperor Mo Bai said calmly. Rumble. At this moment, the demonic dome fire region shook, and the seal shook. Saint Emperor Bing and the other three saw this and their expressions changed drastically, and they quickly left. In the huge Godsfall battlefield, everyone was paying attention to the situation inside the demonic dome fire region. They wanted to know the result of the shocking battle. However, they had no way of knowing the situation inside. Fire marrow mine. Bang. Fang Chen's body was like a cannonball, and he slammed into the wall. He struggled to get up, licked his dry lips, and his eyes were filled with madness. Half-step chaotic sovereign. Fang Chen was extremely shocked, especially when he sensed the chaotic energy that was being emitted from Palace Master Lei's body. He was even more shocked. His blood was also restless. Through the fire marrow mine, Fang Chen saw the shocking battle outside. The battle scene was terrifying. If it wasn't for the seal set up by Palace Master 9 Saint, it would have been destroyed. Palace Master Lei waved his hand, and the thunder dragon in the sky swooped down. After fusing with the chaotic energy, the thunder dragon's attack power had reached the strongest in the world. At the same time, Old Ancestor Yi Kang and Demon Bull clan leader were also resisting frantically, and they reached a stalemate. However, Fang Chen knew that Palace Master Lei was holding back, and he wasn't going all out. Otherwise, the two of them wouldn't be able to resist. Let's go. After watching for a while, Fang Chen made a decision. He had just left quietly when Palace Master 9 Saint was transferring the martial artists. With his control of the fire marrow mine, he quietly hid here. Now, the shocking battle was too strong, and the energy fluctuations that were emitted were putting a lot of pressure on him. He couldn't intervene. In that case, he might as well enter the depths of the fire marrow mine and look for the legendary fire marrow crystal. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Soon, Fang Chen put aside the messy thoughts in his mind and ignored the shocking battle outside. He came to the depths of the fire marrow mine. Here, there was magma, and the triple origin fire was very rich. Buzz. In the magma, Fang Chen saw the fire demon king shivering. Mars, TR sensing Fang Chen's approach, the fire demon king stammered through the magma. He was truly frightened, especially when he sensed the chaotic force in the air. His heart trembled to the extreme. He had thought that the battle of gods had begun once again. I have used some means to temporarily isolate the fire marrow mine from the outside world. You don't have to panic, Fang Chen said. Although he said that, he wasn't sure. After all, any one of the people outside was a big shot of a major sect, an invincible saint-like existence. Rip. The fire demon king tore through the magma and slowly emerged. You've been here for a long time, so you should know the situation inside the fire marrow mine, right? Fang Chen asked about the fire marrow crystal. The fire demon king nodded. There are many fire marrow crystals under the magma. Master, follow me. Chapter 3566. Outside the mine, the battle was still going on. The commotion was huge, and all the cultivators in the entire Godfall battlefield were paying attention. However, Fang Chen used the method that Saint Huokong had given him to change the internal structure of the fire marrow mine, thus concealing his own aura. Even so, he was still careful. After all, there were many invincible saints in the outside world. Once he was discovered, he would be killed. It was unimaginable. If the giants in the outside world knew that he, a third-level holy king, had the ability to control the fire marrow mine, how crazy would they be? At that time, even a half-step chaotic sovereign like Palace Master Lei would not be able to protect him. Rip. The fire demon king's huge body trembled. Apparently, It had also sensed the terrifying aura outside. However, it still forced itself to tear through the magma and brought Fang Chen to the core of the fire marrow mine. Boom! 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 There was another world under the magma. It was a mysterious cave dwelling, surrounded by the terrifying triple origin fire. The interior of the cave dwelling was extremely spacious. Master, this is the core of the fire marrow mine. The Fire Demon King shook its huge head and said in a low voice. Fang Chen nodded. He took a step forward and easily entered the cave dwelling. Buzz! As soon as he entered the cave dwelling, Fang Chen's body froze. A shocked expression appeared on his face. He was stunned on the spot. What entered his eyes were fiery red ores. These ores were like a towering tree that leaned against each other, forming a stone pillar that reached the heavens. On the stone pillar, there were complicated patterns, and the 3 layers of primordial flames around it were calcining these ores. Inside the ores, there was a strange aura. As soon as he touched it, Fang Chen felt the power of the fire origin fluctuating. After a long time, he swallowed hard and suppressed the shock in his heart. He licked his dry lips and said in a hoarse voice, "So many fire marrow crystals." The fire marrow mine was a rare ore. This ore that contained the power of the origin was known as the origin, or ordinary Saint Realm warriors could easily comprehend the origin of fire by refining the fire marrow mine. It should be known that an ordinary Saint stage expert could only comprehend one type of origin source at most. Those geniuses could only comprehend 2 types of origin source. The 5 essences were completely different. It was extremely difficult for them to appear in the same person. If a person could possess so many essences, it meant that their potential had reached an unprecedented level. This was also the reason why the fire marrow vein was being fought over by so many top forces. Now, in front of Fang Chen were countless fire essence crystals, which were of a higher grade than the fire essence. Simply put, the fire essence crystal was the essence of the fire essence. Absorbing 1 fire essence crystal was equivalent to absorbing 100,000 ordinary fire essence. In the outside world, it was basically priceless. Who? Fang Chen's eyes widened and his breathing quickened. With these fire essence crystals, I will definitely be able to comprehend the essence of fire. Fang Chen clenched his fists, his heart trembling. Although his potential was unparalleled and he could defeat a 6th-level Holy King as a 3rd-level Holy King, he had only comprehended 1 type of origin source. He had more or less come into contact with the other origins, but he was still unable to comprehend them. This was a great opportunity. Keep. After trying hard to calm down and adjust his state of mind, Fang Chen placed his palm on the fire essence crystal. Immediately, the crystal released a bright light and blocked Fang Chen's palm. Seeing this, Fang Chen took out the hidden star sword. The sword vibrated and the tip of the sword touched the fire essence crystal. With a slight force, a palm-sized fire essence crystal fell into his palm. Feeling the power released from the fire essence crystal, Fang Chen was amazed. As expected of the fire essence crystal. In the following time, he began to frantically collect the fire essence crystals. He knew that even if he controlled the fire marrow vein, he could not monopolize it. After the battle, the top forces in the outside world would definitely calm down and renegotiate. Even if Palace Master Lei was extremely powerful, he could not directly occupy it. Otherwise, there would not have been a trial for the disciples previously. In the north, snow was falling. This was where the Chaos Battlefield was located. In this area, not only was snow falling, but there was also thunder and lightning. Ordinary saints did not dare to come close. Only invincible saints dared to enter to search for opportunities. Rumble. Today, the Chaos Battlefield was filled with thunder and lightning. It was unusually chaotic and the atmosphere was very oppressive. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. Crack. After an unknown period of time, the void suddenly tore apart, and figures walked out from it. As soon as they appeared, the color of the sky changed. Crash. After a while, a group of 9 people appeared in the wilderness outside the Chaos Battlefield. Their clothes were a little strange and did not fit in with this world. The leader was clad in armor and had a cold expression. Beside him, 8 people were quietly fighting. Young Marquis, Is this the place where the sinners are? One of them whispered. The man in armor, who was called the young Marquis, nodded slightly. A look of arrogance appeared on his face. He stood with his hands behind his back and looked up at the sky. Humph, stupid cultivators. If my clan had not shown mercy back then, they would have been wiped out. Now, they are holed up in the God's Fall battlefield like rats. Everyone wants to beat them up, the young Marquis said disdainfully. What kind of talents can be produced in such a harsh environment? I can sweep them away with one hand. Young Marquis, you mustn't be careless. Although this is the land of the sinners, after countless epochs, it has given birth to some powerful cultivators. Marquis went through a lot of hardships to send us here in order to train you. The Marquis has already made arrangements. Young Marquis, you only need to wait for a few days. When the Marquis uses his means to lure the so-called invincible saints of the sinners to the chaos battlefield, we can take action. Yes, but the young Marquis can sweep away these stupid sinners with one hand. Hearing this, the young Marquis looked indifferent and nodded slightly. Well, let's familiarize ourselves with the land of the sinners first before we take action. I want to conquer the world and sweep the world. With that, the group of 9 people escaped into the void. Sure enough, Fang Chen's guess was right. The battle in the demonic fire domain lasted for a few days and finally ended with Elder Yi Kang fleeing. As for the Bull Demon clan leader, he did not attack anymore. The two of them together could not defeat Palace Master Lei Yi. There was no point in continuing the battle. After the battle, many giants gathered in the demonic fire domain. They began to renegotiate the mining rights of the Fire Marrow mine. In the outside world, the news spread quickly. Palace Master Lei Yi's battle had shocked the world. Chapter 3567. Fire Essence Mineral Vein, deep in the magma, inside the cave. He had been mining fire essence crystals for the past few days and had already collected tens of thousands of them. This was not a small number. If the outside world knew about this, even invincible saints and half-step chaotic sovereigns would be shocked. Catcher. Fang Chen had a joyful smile on his face. These days, he had already mastered the means of Empyrean Fire Saint. With the hidden star sword in his hand, he was mining the fire essence crystals with ease. Beside him, the Fire Demon King was refining the fire essence crystals from time to time. Buzz. A scorching energy revolved around the Flame Devil King's body. A flame essence crystal on its claw instantly turned into powder. It opened its gong-sized eyes and was extremely excited. Although I didn't make a breakthrough, my strength has obviously improved. The Fire Demon King raised its head and looked at Fang Chen's back. It was extremely grateful. If it wasn't for Fang Chen, it wouldn't have been able to use the fire essence crystals even if it knew that there were fire essence crystals here. According to my estimation, there should be about 20,000 fire essence crystals here. Fang Chen muttered. He had already mined half of the fire essence crystals. If he was given a few more days, he would be able to mine all the fire essence crystals here. Phew. He took a deep breath and placed a piece of fire essence crystal into the dark cave mountain. Then, his palm emitted a gentle light and injected it into the hidden star sword. He then inserted the sword into the stone pillar. Catcher. A crisp sound rang out. Fang Chen felt a resistance that prevented the hidden star sword from going deeper. At first, he didn't pay much attention to it and increased his strength. However, not only did the hidden star sword not go deeper, it even retreated a little. This scene attracted Fang Chen's attention. What's going on? He was puzzled. He had been using this method to mine the fire essence crystals for the past few days and the process was very smooth. But why couldn't the hidden star sword penetrate it now? Could it be that there was another world in the stone pillar made of fire essence crystals? Thinking of this, Fang Chen's expression changed slightly. He carefully pulled out the hidden star sword and gently polished the outermost layer of the stone pillar. Soon, the outermost layer of the fire essence crystals automatically fell and was taken by Fang Chen. What is it? The more he polished the stone pillar, the more shocked Fang Chen became. That was because the resistance he felt was growing stronger and stronger. Crack. Fang Chen unhurriedly mined the outermost fire essence crystals. He wanted to dig out all the obstructions in the surroundings to see what exactly was there that could stop the hidden star sword from going deeper. Finally, after an hour of digging, the outermost flame essence crystals all fell off. At this time, a faint blue light entered his eyes. Fang Chen turned pale with fright. "What is this?" Fang Chen used the star-hidden sword to lightly touch it, and sure enough, he felt a great resistance. He had already determined that the previous resistance came from the ore that was emitting a light blue radiance. Strange, why are there light blue ores growing in the flame essence crystals? Fang Chen racked his brains but still couldn't figure it out. However, his intuition told him that this light blue ore was very likely to be a rare treasure that was even more precious than fire essence crystals. "Master, what did you find?" Fang Chen's strange movement attracted the Fire Demon King's attention. The latter stopped cultivating and came to the front of the stone pillar. He stuck his huge head out and looked at the light blue ore. "Do you know what kind of ore usually grows in the flame essence crystals?" Fang Chen pointed at the light blue ore. The Fire Demon King's eyes widened as he stared at the light blue ore. His body trembled and his heart was in turmoil. His voice was a little hoarse. Could it be, what is it?" Fang Chen asked. The Fire Demon King's huge claws were as fast as lightning as he grabbed the light blue ore. With a bang, a powerful force sent him flying. He hurriedly got up from the ground and was even more convinced of his guess. "Master is really the chosen one. You can actually find this ore." The Fire Demon King was full of praise for Fang Chen. In the end, he told Fang Chen that this light blue ore, strictly speaking, was also a type of flame essence ore. However, this ore was formed by gathering the essence of heaven and earth. In other words, this light blue ore could be called a mother ore. What was a mother ore? It was an ore that could give birth to a flame essence vein. This ore was the most primitive ore and also the most powerful ore. It was said that this ore was formed by the essence of heaven and earth and was very powerful. Flame essence ore. After Fang Chen understood the situation, he took a deep breath. "This is the legendary flame essence ore?" Even so, Fang Chen was still shocked. He had seen records of the flame essence ore in the Heaven-Defying Alliance's ancient books. In the Battle of the Ancient Gods, all the flame essence ores in the world were destroyed. There were no more flame essence ores in the world. He stared at the flame essence ore that was emitting a soft light blue light. His heart was pounding. He didn't expect to find a flame essence ore here. "Master, the essence energy inside the flame essence ore is very strong. Be careful." Seeing that Fang Chen wanted to dig the flame essence ore, the Fire Demon King reminded him. Fang Chen nodded and secretly set up a Demon Slayer array, completely isolating this place. He was afraid that the movement would attract many giants outside. Flame essence ore. Fang Chen was excited. His trembling hand slowly approached the flame essence ore hiss. However, as soon as he touched the source ore, he felt a scorching power, as if it was going to burn his body. With a bang, he received a powerful rebound force and was sent flying. After getting up from the ground, Fang Chen looked helpless. What a strong power. Fang Chen couldn't help but sigh. How can I take it away? The flame essence crystal was already a rare ore in the world. Everyone would go crazy for it. The flame essence ore was something that even invincible saints would fight for. According to the ancient books, even a half-step chaotic sovereign like Palace Master Lei needed it. Having the flame essence ore meant that it was very likely that one could comprehend the essence of fire and obtain the title of Lord of Origin. It must be fast. Fang Chen muttered to himself. Once the giants outside finished their discussion, they would definitely enter the flame essence ore. At that time, the flame essence ore would be discovered by them. Fang Chen was lost in thought. Beside him, the Fire Demon King was still in shock. In a remote city relatively close to the Chaos battlefield, the 9 people led by the young Marquis spent a few days learning about the area. Just as they were about to lie dormant and wait for Marquis Xiaoyaro to use his means to lure the top experts to the Chaos battlefield, the young Marquis's body suddenly trembled. He flipped his palm and a fiery red token suddenly appeared. Buzz! The fiery red token vibrated and the inscriptions on it flickered. Seeing this, the other 8 people's expressions changed drastically. Whoosh! The young Marquis put away the fiery red token and jumped up with an excited smile on his face. Chapter 3568. The formation of the mother lode was too complicated. It had a unique geographical advantage, an extremely vast origin energy, and many other conditions to create the strongest mother lode. Generally speaking, mother ores could be regarded as the top mother ores. Once such mother ores were discovered by the top forces, there would be a mad scramble for it. No matter which force it was, as long as it had the mother ores, it meant that in the near future, it would be able to produce an endless stream of Saint Realm experts, or even Holy Emperor Realm experts. It also meant that this force had completely risen. However, since the Battle of the Ancient Gods, the world had been shattered and almost annihilated. All the heavenly treasures had been shattered and the few mother ores in the world had been destroyed by the Almighties. Until then, there were no more mother ores in the world. But now, Fang Chen had discovered the mother ores in the fire marrow ores. It was a shocking discovery. Phew! Fang Chen forcibly suppressed his excitement and stared at the mother ores that were emitting light blue light. How do I take it? Fang Chen frowned. It was a difficult problem and it would be difficult to solve. As long as he got close to the mother ores, he would be repelled. The power contained in the mother ores was too strong and he could not resist it at all. Is there no other way? Fang Chen was racking his brains. At this moment, the Fire Demon King suddenly reminded him that the Fire Space Saint might have already discovered the mother ores and left his inheritance for the fated person. Hearing this, Fang Chen was shocked and immediately began to search his mind for the information left behind by the Fire Space Saint. Buzz! The star-hidden sword suddenly emitted a sword cry. Immediately, it contained a terrifying power of sword principle, and shot toward the light blue source or crack. When it was about to touch the mother ores, it was blocked by the light blue light and could not go any further. But at this moment, a trace of complicated runes flowed on the tip of the hidden star sword. Hey! Fang Chen exclaimed softly. He was a little surprised. He stared at the star-concealing sword with all his attention. He saw that the tip of the star-concealing sword was shrouded in a layer of faintly discernible red light. It was consuming the light blue light as it constantly approached the source or this. Finally, Fang Chen observed for a moment and made a shocking discovery. My blood! Fang Chen exclaimed and widened his eyes. Not long ago, he was fighting with the bull demon, Tang Yi Kang, and later, when he was injured, a trace of blood flowed from his arm and stained the hidden star sword. Soon, he understood. The perfect bloodline could actually restrain the light blue light. After this shocking discovery, the grave expression on Fang Chen's face disappeared and was replaced with a smile. Strictly speaking, his bloodline was not the perfect bloodline, but it was only one step away from perfection. Give it a try. Fang Chen couldn't wait to give it a try. Buzz. Blood essence. He stepped. He. By. He. And he God-owned blood. In his heart, he prayed that he would succeed. His palm got closer little by little. Finally, under his gaze, his palm touched the light blue light. Crash. The expected obstruction did not appear. His palm easily passed through the light blue light and touched the mother ores. An ice-cold aura passed through his palm and drilled into his palm. His body shivered. Then, dense information drilled into his mind. Basically, it was about the birth of the mother ores and the formation process of the fire marrow veins. Sure enough. Fang Chen was overjoyed. At the same time, he was even more curious. What is the origin of the blood cavalry saint? How did he create such a heaven-defying bloodline? Moreover, why did he create such a bloodline? He even guessed that the blood cavalry saint was not the so-called invincible saint at all, but a peak existence comparable to the Alliance Master. Phew. Putting away the messy thoughts in his mind, Fang Chen focused on the mother ores. At this time, his big hand was holding the mother ores. He could clearly feel the vast power in the mother ores. With the help of the perfect bloodline, the mother ores no longer rejected him. Catcher. He used the star-concealing sword to dig out all the fire marrow crystals around the mother ores. Finally, he easily took out the mother ores. Buzz. The moment he took out the source ore, the luster of the entire fire essence vein dimmed significantly. The indestructible fire essence crystals continuously fell to the ground, piling up into a mountain in an instant. This scene also shocked the fire demon king. The mother ores are too important to the vein. With a thought, Fang Chen saw the current situation of the vein. Strictly speaking, the moment he took out the mother ores, the vein was already dead. However, he couldn't care less. He carefully put away the mother ore and the tens of thousands of fire essence crystals that had fallen to the ground and piled up into a mountain. Phew! After doing all this, Fang Chen heaved a sigh of relief. This trip to the magic sky fire domain was too rewarding. Not only did he obtain 20,000 fire marrow crystals, but he also obtained a mother ores. He had already made up his mind. When he returned to the heaven-defying alliance, he would immediately go into seclusion to refine the mother ores. They are still discussing. Fang Chen pondered. He had already obtained the most precious mother ores in the fire marrow vein. It would be a waste of time if he continued to stay. He might as well take the opportunity to leave. However, there were many top figures outside. It would be difficult for him to leave without anyone knowing. After thinking about it, he finally decided to contact Palace Master Lei. In the wilderness outside the fire marrow vein, many top figures, led by Palace Master Lei, were discussing the ownership of the fire marrow vein. Previously, we had discussed the ownership of the fire marrow mine and decided to leave it to the younger generation. It could also be considered as a form of training for them. Who would have thought that such an unforeseen event would occur midway? Purple clothes, Sect Master said. The Nine Saints Palace Lord said expressionlessly, since we are all here, let us decide the ownership of the fire marrow lode. The others nodded. They were the top figures in the Godfall battlefield and the leaders of the top forces. One word from them could cause a huge commotion. Palace Master Lei, what do you think? One of the top figures asked. The Thunder Palace Lord gave a simple explanation of his requirements. This mine was very large, and it could be mined for 100 years. The Heaven-defying Alliance's requirements were not high. They only wanted 50% of the mining rights, and the rest would be divided among the other peak factions. If it was before, many of the top figures might have refused. However, after the previous battle, they were still shocked. Palace Master Lei was too powerful. He had defeated the invincible saints and was worthy of being called a half-step chaotic sovereign. Chapter 3569. Palace Master Lei's words represented the entire Heaven-defying Alliance. The Heaven-defying Alliance shoulders the heavy responsibility of revitalizing this world. We also have to fend off external enemies and deal with a crisis that could come at any time. Taking 50% is acceptable. After thinking for a moment, Nine Saint Palace Master spoke first. In fact, even if they did not agree, it would be useless. With the Heaven-defying Alliance's means, they could not do anything even if they took over all of it. Okay. Agreed. Soon, the various giants reached a consensus. The Heaven-defying Alliance would take 50%, and the remaining half would be divided among the other forces. The Thunder Palace Master exuded a terrifying aura. He stood there like a god of war, giving off a chilling feeling. Suddenly, Palace Master Lei's expression changed. Immediately, he took a step forward and walked to the side. Fang Chen? Palace Master Lei was a little surprised. He did not expect Fang Chen to send him a message at this time. However, when he learned that Fang Chen had not been sent away by Nine Saint Palace Master and was instead hiding in the fire marrow mine, he was very surprised. What's going on? Palace Master Lei asked. Fang Chen gave a simple explanation of what had happened. After Palace Master Lei heard it, he was in disbelief. After a long while, he recovered and shook his head, revealing a faint smile on his face. Then, he turned to look at Nine Saint Palace Master and the others. I'll go in and take a look. You guys stay here and discuss. Splash. Palace Master Lei followed Fang Chen's guidance and soon came to the cave under the magma. You kid. Palace Master Lei looked at Fang Chen and smiled. I didn't expect Fire Sky Saint to refine the entire mine and help you indirectly. However, you should know that the Godsfall battlefield is not peaceful. The unknown dangers in the Chaos battlefield are very likely to erupt. At that time, there might be a second Godsfall battle. Therefore, the heaven-defying alliance has been preparing for it all these years. In order to improve the overall strength of the Godsfall battlefield, the heaven-defying alliance has chosen to give up half of the mine to the other top sect. Palace Master Lei said, "I believe you understand." Fang Chen nodded. Palace Master Lei, although I am in control of the load, I will not interfere with the ownership of the load. I will follow the instructions of the sect. Moreover, I have benefited a lot from the Fire Sky Saint. Voila! Fang Chen flicked his wrist and a fire essence crystal appeared in his palm. Fire essence crystal? Palace Master Lei sucked in a breath of cold air and said, "You found it here? It's in this cave. There are about 20,000 pieces in total." "I've taken all of them," Fang Chen said. Regarding the fire essence crystal, he did not intend to hide it. Firstly, now that he had the source ore, the use of the fire essence crystals had been greatly reduced. Secondly, who was Palace Master Lei? He knew more about the fire marrow mine than Sumo did. If Sumo took the fire marrow crystals for himself, he would definitely find out. Instead of that, he might as well tell Palace Master Lei openly. So many. Palace Master Lei was overjoyed. "I did not expect there to be so many fire essence crystals in this mine." He thought quickly and said, "Fang Chen, regarding the mission of the fire marrow mine, you have made a great contribution. After you return, you can go to the Dao Palace of the Myriad Dao World to cultivate." At the same time, he also told Fang Chen that he was the one who had obtained the fire essence crystals and the sect would not force him to hand them over. However, the fire essence crystals are very important to the disciples of the Dao Palace. You have 20,000 pieces and you can't use that much. Have you considered using them to exchange for some sky treasures or divine skills from the sect? "I am willing." Palace Master Lei was overjoyed. "Good. After you return, I will personally bring you to exchange for them. How about this? Hide in my body and I will bring you away." If other top figures found out that Fang Chen was in the load, they would definitely guess that it was him. In that case, it would bring about unnecessary trouble. The battle of the demonic fire domain ended with Palace Master Lei's victory. After this battle, the names of the 3 palace masters of the Dao Palace once again appeared in the minds of the people. They deeply understood the profound foundation of the heaven-defying alliance and were all amazed. As for the other top sect, they sent their elders and disciples to the fire marrow mine to mine. The heaven-defying alliance was no exception. Many disciples led by Saint Emperor Bingbing and the others set off again to enter the mine. Only Fang Chen was brought back to the Myriad Dao world by Palace Master Lei. The majestic palace was located in the Myriad Dao world, and it stood out from the crowd. The Myriad Dao world was not big, but it was the dream place of all the martial artists in the Godfall battlefield. As long as one could enter the Myriad Dao world, it meant that one would definitely become a dragon among men in the future and even enter the invincible saint realm. However, the threshold of the Dao Palace was too high and only accepted those with unparalleled potential. Buzz. Layers of seals opened and the Dao Palace appeared in front of Fang Chen. Although it was his second time entering the Myriad Dao world, he was still shocked. Under the lead of Palace Master Lei, the two of them came to a garden. "Have a seat." Palace Master Lei sat on a stone bench and pointed to the stone bench beside him with a smile. "Thank you, Palace Master Lei." Palace Master Lei looked at Fang Chen carefully and felt the majestic power in his body and the origin runes on the surface of his skin. He was very impressed. As expected of the guy who received the inheritance of the Blood Cavalry Saint. What a demonic talent. Palace Master Lei praised. You can defeat a 6th-level Holy Emperor with your 3rd-level Holy King cultivation. If I were at the same level, I would definitely not be as good as you. Palace Master Lei, you must be joking. Fang Chen said modestly. Palace Master Lei was the legendary half-step chaotic sovereign. His means were unimaginable. By the way, I heard from Ice that you used the Demon Slayer formation to fight with the disciples of Sword Saint Mountain in the Fire Marrow Mine. I wonder how the battle went. At that time, the situation was urgent. Saint Emperor Bingbing only briefly mentioned it and did not mention the result. Only then did Palace Master Lei remember. The disciples of the Sword Saint Mountain hated the disciples of our heaven-defying alliance. They did everything they could to kill us, but in the end, we lured them to the fire essence mine. Using our innate advantage, we killed them all, Fang Chen said calmly. All of them? Palace Master Lei was surprised. Fang Chen nodded. The others were easy to deal with. Only Jian Moyun refined the origin mark in his body at the crucial moment and broke through to 7th level Holy Emperor. After hearing Fang Chen's answer, Palace Master Lei was stunned for a full second. You killed Jian Moyun, a 7th level Holy Emperor? Palace Master Lei repeated, thinking that he had heard wrongly. After getting Fang Chen's confirmation, Palace Master Lei gave Fang Chen a thumbs up. A genius that has never been seen before. This was Palace Master Lei's evaluation of Fang Chen. A 3rd level Holy King killing a 7th level Holy Emperor. Although it was done with the help of the Fire Marrow Mine, it was still considered earth-shattering. At least, there had never been such a demonic talent in the Holy Ji Palace. Palace Master Lei's gaze towards Fang Chen changed greatly. After a long while, he said leisurely. Chapter 3570. Among the 3 palace lords of the Holy Ji Palace, Palace Lord Lei was the strongest, followed by the other 2. Everyone knows that there are 3 palace lords in the Holy Ji Palace. Do you know why only I have shown myself and the other 2 have not? Palace Lord Lei looked at Fang Chen with a smile. The strength that Fang Chen had shown in the battle of the Demon Sky Fire Domain was enough for him to know some secrets. Moreover, the half-perfect bloodline in his body was about to transform into a perfect bloodline. It was time to tell him some secrets. Fang Chen shook his head. In his impression, the other 2 palace lords, as well as the alliance leader who was truly the strongest in the battlefield of gods, were all in seclusion. They were trying to break through to the chaotic supreme realm. Palace Lord Lei shook his head. He raised his eyebrows and looked into the distance at the blue sky. His thoughts seemed to have been pulled back to a certain moment. They are not in seclusion. Instead, they are fighting against a great enemy in the chaotic battlefield. What Palace Lord Lei said next shocked Fang Chen. Hearing about the chaotic battlefield again, Fang Chen was especially shocked. What kind of great enemy was in the chaotic battlefield that the other 2 palace lords of the Holy Ji Palace had to fight against? In fact, the alliance leader is also in the chaotic battlefield. He is the commander and is leading some people in battle, Palace Lord Lei continued. Fang Chen was dumbfounded. Was the battlefield of gods so serious? What kind of enemy was it? Why did the powerful alliance leader pay so much attention to it? Palace Lord Lei did not say what the enemy was, but he mentioned the ancient battle of gods. He told Fang Chen that the enemy in the chaotic battlefield was related to the ancient battle of gods. What? Fang Chen jumped to his feet. There was an uncontrollable shock on his face. He had always been curious about the battlefield of gods. What was going on? Was there a mastermind behind it? He even suspected that the mastermind was the evil cultivator he had met in the Demon Emperor's mausoleum. The chaotic battlefield is very important. Hence, the alliance leader has no time to be distracted. I have been managing the heaven-defying alliance all these years. Palace Lord Lei looked at Fang Chen with a gentle gaze. Fang Chen remained silent and listened quietly. Next, the Thunder Palace Master told them that the Blood Cavalry Saint had unparalleled attainments in the Bloodline Dao. He was even stronger than the heaven-defying Alliance Master in this aspect. In order to prevent this world from repeating the same mistakes, he spent his entire life researching a supreme bloodline that we call the perfect bloodline. Back then, they had gone through untold hardships to create a single drop of perfect blood. Reality had proven that the perfect blood was the most effective and direct way to defend against great enemies. This shocking discovery made us realize that we had to create a complete and perfect bloodline at all costs. Therefore, we cast a wide net and constantly searched for warriors with potential in this world. After countless years, he finally found a few. However, without exception, all of them failed. Even in the process of the last experiment, the Blood Cavalry Saint suffered a strong backlash because of this and was killed by a Star Knight. After hearing this, Fang Chen sighed. He didn't expect the perfect bloodline in his body to have such a background. Now, you should be clear about what I said to you back then, right? When the two met for the first time, the Thunder Palace Master told Fang Chen that he had a heavy burden on his shoulders and hoped that he could grow up quickly. Originally, we were already discouraged. However, when we found you, the plan was restarted. After understanding your situation, we were confident that the plan would succeed this time. However, the prerequisite is that your bloodline must transform into the perfect bloodline, the Thunder Palace Master said in one breath. These were all secrets. Apart from the top experts in the Chaos battlefield who were defending against great enemies, no one else knew about it. Even Fang Chen only knew about it today. Fang Chen was stunned. He didn't expect that he would inadvertently become the hope of the God's Fall battlefield. His mind was in turmoil. You don't have to put too much pressure on yourself. With the potential you have shown now, you are many times stronger than the previous test subjects. The most important thing is that they created their bloodline passively. However, you are different. You started from an insignificant age and experienced ups and downs. Finally, you have a semi-perfect bloodline. The Thunder Palace Master was very satisfied with Fang Chen's current performance. He could conclude without exaggeration that if Fang Chen continued to develop with such momentum, he would definitely step into the invincible Sage Realm in the near future. He might even comprehend the chaotic power and become a half-step chaotic supremacy like him. Moreover, he didn't tell Fang Chen that so far, the latter was the most promising genius in this world to break through the shackles and step into the legendary chaotic supremacy realm. Originally, I planned to tell you when your cultivation reached the 7th rank Saint realm. However, the combat power you have shown in this mission is no weaker than a 7th rank Saint. Therefore, I will tell you this. The Thunder Palace Master said, in the following days, you can cultivate in peace in the Myriad Path world. If you need anything, just tell me. When your cultivation reaches the 7th rank Saint realm, I will send you to the Chaos battlefield. When Fang Chen had the perfect bloodline, it was destined that the Chaos battlefield would be his ultimate stage. How could he grow without going through bloody trials? Phew. Fang Chen took a deep breath and appeared very calm. He wanted to ask about the ancient battle of gods and everything in the Chaos battlefield. However, he knew that even if he really asked, the Thunder Palace Master might not tell him. Strength. My strength is still not enough. The more Fang Chen learned about the secrets of the God's Fall battlefield, the heavier the burden on his shoulders. The higher one stood, the greater the responsibility. When he was still insignificant, he competed with other geniuses for opportunities and improved his strength. When he really became a big shot in the God's Fall battlefield, he would want to protect the safety of this world. Everything the Heaven-defying Alliance was doing now was to prevent the tragedy of the ancient times from repeating. When he walked out of the garden, Fang Chen was a little dazed. He only came back to his senses when someone called him. Fang Chen, why are you here? The person who spoke was Wang Daoyun. Senior brother Wang. Fang Chen nodded and greeted him. I know. You must have been approved to join the Dao Palace, right? Ha ha ha, I knew it. With your talent, you will definitely be able to enter the Dao Palace. It was especially cordial to meet someone from the same hometown. Both of them were from the 9 Regions branch. Therefore, Wang Daoyun was very happy to see that Fang Chen had also joined the Dao Palace. Let's go. I will walk around. Wang Daoyun pulled Fang Chen and left. In the garden. Looking at Fang Chen's back, the Thunder Palace Master sighed. There was some sadness, helplessness, and loneliness in his voice. I hope you can withstand the pressure and grow. Chapter 3571. The outer sect of the Heaven-defying Alliance was where Fang Chen used to cultivate. When Saint Emperor Han Bing and the other 3 returned, it shocked the entire Heaven-defying Alliance. All the disciples were curious about what had happened in the demonic fire domain. Especially the second disciple of the giant fire peak, Yang Xian, Yuan Lai, Zi Cheng, and the others. They hated Fang Chen to the core and wanted to tear him into pieces. However, when they heard that Fang Chen had defeated Jian Moyun, their faces turned solemn. How is that possible? With a bang, Yuan Lai smashed the stone table in front of him with a punch. He stood up with a gloomy face and clenched his fists, exuding a terrifying aura. During this period, his cultivation had improved greatly. He could even feel that the shackles were loosening. As long as he made one more step, he would be able to break through. He was full of confidence. When Fang Chen returned, he would definitely avenge himself. With his own strength, he severely injured Tang Yi, killed Ox Demon, and even killed Zhen Moyun. Even Yang Xian was dumbfounded when he heard the news. Senior brother Yang Xian. After the anger, Yuan Lai forced himself to calm down. He stared at Yang Xian, waiting for the latter's decision. That guy's potential is too strong. If we let him continue to develop, he will definitely be a threat to us. Yang Xian nodded. I know what to do. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Xian quickly left the courtyard, leaving Yuan Lai and Zi Cheng looking at each other. As soon as Saint Emperor Han Bing and the other three returned, they were called by Yun Luo Peak Master to ask about the situation in the demonic fire domain. Some disciples noticed that Fang Chen had not returned. What's going on? Why didn't senior brother Fang return? I heard that Palace Master Lei of the Dao Palace went there at the last moment and a shocking battle broke out. Could it be that senior brother Fang? They were late in the news and did not know that Fang Chen had been brought back to the myriad Dao world by Palace Master Lei. In an instant, there were countless guesses about Fang Chen. Senior brother Fang killed Ox Demon and severely injured Tang Yi. Old ancestor Yi Kang and Ox Demon Patriarch will definitely not let him go. It's very likely. For this reason, many people asked the upper echelons of the heaven-defying alliance. However, the higher-ups chose to remain silent on this matter. This made people even more suspicious that Fang Chen had fallen in the shocking battle. Impossible, absolutely impossible. On Juyuan Mountain, Lunatic Li said in a low voice. Senior brother Fang's potential is unparalleled. As a third-level holy king, he suppressed all the heroes on the Saint Royal leaderboard. How can he die just like that? To the side, Princess Qin Yun gently nodded. She also didn't believe the news of Fang Chen's death. His battle prowess is comparable to a 7th-level saint, and with Palace Lord Lei of the Dao Palace present, who could possibly kill senior brother Fang? A few days later, Peak Master Yun Luo personally led the group to the Fire Essence Vein. Holy Emperor Han Bing and the others also headed to the Fire Essence Vein. At this point, the Fire Essence Lode was completely exposed to the world. All the top sect martial artists entered and began to mine on a large scale. Giant Fire Peak, Purple Bamboo Academy. Senior brother Yang Xian, the Frost Saint Emperor and the other three did not mention anything about Fang Chen. Even the higher-ups chose to remain silent. There's something fishy about this matter, said Zi Cheng. I believe that some of the rumors are true. Yuan Lai nodded. I have an acquaintance in the ancient Demon Ox clan. I heard from him that the Demon Ox clan's patriarch was enraged and forcefully attacked Fang Chen. As for whether Fang Chen died or not, there is no definite news. Yuan Lai believed that it would be easy for an invincible saint to kill Fang Chen. Even if there was a super powerhouse like Palace Lord Lei, he might not be able to stop him. What you hear may be false, but seeing is believing. In comparison, Yang Xian was very calm and collected. Before he had definite news, he didn't believe that Fang Chen had been killed. After all, such a disciple with unparalleled potential would definitely be protected by the higher-ups of the heaven-defying alliance. You guys, gather information for me. I want a definite answer, Yang Xian said. Then he turned and left. Not long after, he returned to his residence. Is Fang Chen dead? Yang Xian looked into the void and seemed to be talking to himself. Suddenly, an evil voice could be heard. I received news that Fang Chen has only mysteriously disappeared. He's not dead, the evil voice said. His performance in the demonic fire domain was too outstanding. He's comparable to a 7th-level saint. The Dao Palace must have protected him. After a slight pause, the evil voice continued, however, I have a way to lure him out. Obviously, the evil voice also realized that Fang Chen's potential was too strong. If he wasn't restrained, he would definitely become a great threat. Then, the evil voice secretly sent a message to Yang Xian, asking him to spread the news. If Fang Chen was still alive, He would definitely do something after hearing the news. Will this work? Yongxian asked. As long as we confirm that he's still alive, we'll take the next step. As for your plan, it's about time to carry it out, the evil voice said coldly. Yongxian's expression changed and he didn't say anything. After the battle in the demonic fire domain, Fang Chen's reputation reached its peak. Everyone in the God-Fall battlefield knew about him. With his third-level Saint King cultivation, he killed the bull demon and severely injured Tang Yi. He became a hot topic. Not long after, the Saint Royal leaderboard was updated. Fang Chen's ranking shot up and he reached the second place. This incident caused a sensation again. One should know that since the Saint Royal leaderboard was established, it only included the Saint Royal experts of the younger generation. This was an iron rule. But now, Fang Chen, with his Saint King cultivation, had entered the Saint Royal leaderboard and he was ranked second. From this, one could see how strong his potential was. In the battle in the demonic fire domain, Fang Chen's performance was too perfect. Yeah, if the mysterious first place on the Saint Royal leaderboard hadn't appeared, Fang Chen might have been ranked first. The first place on the Saint Royal leaderboard had always been a mystery. No one knew how strong he was. The reason why he was ranked first was that he had killed more than 20 6th-level Saint Emperors in one battle and became famous. Other than that, there was very little information about him. Therefore, the person who compiled the Saint Royal leaderboard couldn't determine who was stronger between the two. That was why he ranked Fang Chen second. The undercurrent in the outside world was unpredictable. As the main character, Fang Chen, was in seclusion in the myriad Dao world. This time, I will try to refine the source ore and break through the shackles to step into the Saint Royal realm. Fang Chen pondered. He had been in the Saint King realm for a long time. It was time to break through. Of course, he hoped to comprehend the origin of fire through the source ore. No matter how noisy the outside world was, the myriad Dao world was as quiet as ever. When Fang Chen was in seclusion, old ancestor Yi Kang quietly arrived at the ancient Bull Demon clan. He came with hatred and wanted to join forces with the ancient Bull Demon clan to avenge his disciple. Old ancestor Yi Kang. The patriarch of the Bull Demon clan came to greet him personally. He saw an illusory figure behind old ancestor Yi Kang with sword chi. He was stunned for a moment and immediately understood. Chapter 3572. Ox Demon Clan, the highest meeting hall. The three top giants took their seats, and the entire hall was filled with an oppressive aura. It was like purgatory, which made people feel very uncomfortable. Spirit Sword Saint looked like an old man surrounded by sword aura. His eyes were releasing a shocking aura of swordsmanship. He sat quietly on the chair, motionless. However, the other two knew very well how angry Spirit Sword Saint was at this time. What was an invincible saint? Apart from the 5 Lords of Origin, they were invincible in the saint realm. Generally speaking, to be called an invincible saint meant that they had reached the pinnacle in a certain field. After the Battle of Gods, the precepts of heaven and earth were damaged, making it difficult for warriors to cultivate. The chaotic supreme realm had become a legend. Even so, Palace Lord Lei had stepped into the half-step chaotic supreme realm with his own great perseverance. This represented the pinnacle of martial cultivation, which was difficult for anyone to cross. It was no exaggeration to say that the anger of an invincible saint was something that could not be resisted by the heaven-defying alliance. Unless the 3 palace lords of the Holy Ji Palace came together, or the legendary heaven-defying alliance lord returned. Sword Saint Mountain was the top force, stronger than the Ox Demon clan. It had a deep foundation. Many geniuses had appeared in this generation, especially Jian Moyun and Jian Qingyun. The 2 brothers were born with the sword physique, as if they were born for the sword. They were regarded as the hope of a glorious era by Sword Saint Mountain. They had high hopes for the 2 brothers. This trip to the demonic fire territory was a test for the 2 brothers. If they stood out, they would open Sword Saint Mountain and let them receive the inheritance of their ancestor, the Sword God. However, who would have thought that Sword Saint Mountain would be completely wiped out? When he learned the news, Spirit Sword Saint destroyed dozens of continents under Sword Saint Mountain in anger. However, When he faced Palace Lord Lei, he became timid. Spirit Sword Saint. Old Ancestor Yi Kang's voice broke the silence of the hall. As far as I know, your disciples were mercilessly slaughtered by Fang Chen in the demonic fire territory. I presume you came here for this matter. Old Ancestor Yi Kang's disciple, Tang Yi, had almost died. It could be said that they had a common enemy. There was no need to even mention the Ox Demon clan. Their genius disciple, Ox Demon, had died at the hands of Fang Chen in front of everyone's eyes. If the Ox Demon clan didn't take any action, wouldn't they become the laughingstock of the world? However, the three of them were facing the heaven-defying alliance, which was the dominant force in this world, so they had to be careful. Finally, the Spirit Sword Saint's calm face rippled with a trace of undisguised killing intent. He opened his turbid eyes and said in a hoarse voice, "Fang Chen must die. No one can save him." The Demon Ox Patriarch nodded, and the three giants began to seriously discuss how to kill Fang Chen with the least cost. It had already been a month since the shocking battle in the Magic Skyfire region. During this period of time, the various top forces had basically returned to the right track. The mining progress of the fire essence lode was extremely fast. Even though the world was still discussing who was stronger, Fang Chen or the first on the Holy Emperor ranking list. However, the God's Fall battlefield had gradually calmed down. However, behind the calmness, there seemed to be an even bigger storm about to strike. Myriad Path World, Doctrine Palace. In an independent courtyard, Fang Chen sat cross-legged on the ground, surrounded by a terrifying aura. In front of him, the fire source ore floated. His hands gently covered the source ore. The pale blue light constantly entered his body and then intertwined with his bloodline. Buzz. His blood and the pale blue light intertwined and gave off a dazzling light. Fang Chen's heart trembled and he suddenly opened his eyes. In the past month, he had been refining the source ore. During this period of time, he had discovered a secret. The pale blue power released from the source ore could actually promote the evolution of his bloodline. This discovery naturally made him overjoyed. Perhaps it was because of his bloodline, but in just a month, he had already refined half of the source ore. Now, his blood was filled with a thick pale blue light and was undergoing a transformation. As expected of the source ore nurtured by the origin of heaven and earth. It's really amazing. Fang Chen exclaimed and continued to refine the source ore dong. After accumulating for a month, the power in his body had reached its peak. Suddenly, a deafening sound was heard. His body trembled and the origin star spun quickly. At the same time, a new origin star was formed. 9 metal origin stars circled above Fang Chen's head and underwent a qualitative transformation. The runes on the origin star also underwent a major change. His aura continued to rise and in the blink of an eye, it had reached the peak. At this moment, he was smiling. He had broken through. After being stuck at the bottleneck for so long, he had finally broken through to the 4th rank Holy Emperor realm. "Have I broken through?" Fang Chen murmured. After his cultivation had increased, his body had undergone a complete transformation. The transformation of his blood had also accelerated, causing a series of changes. He felt that there was a strong power in his body. If he released it, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. Continue. He did not stop cultivating. Instead, he used the opportunity to continue refining the source ore, Shu Yang, a senior disciple of the Doctrine Palace. As he was engrossed in cultivation and had never fought with others, very few people remembered him. However, his strength was not to be underestimated. The fact that he could be ranked in the top 50 disciples of the Doctrine Palace was enough to prove his strength. Peak rank 8. Shu Yang slowly opened his eyes and stopped cultivating. The aura on his body was terrifying. He smiled. He had finally broken through to the peak rank 8 and was only one step away from rank 9. Fire Essence. After he came out of seclusion, the first news he received was that the fire essence ore had appeared. He licked his dry lips. Now, I have mastered 2 origins. The fire origin has been stuck at a bottleneck. If I can get the fire essence crystal, it should be much easier. Thinking of this, Shu Yang's eyes flickered and he made a decision. However, at this moment, the communication token rang and a hoarse voice was heard. Change of plans. Hearing the hoarse voice, Xu Yang frowned. What's the matter? The communication token transmitted some information during this period. Soon, Xu Yang put away the communication token and left the Myriad Path world. When Xu Yang arrived at a mountain not far from the Myriad Path world, there was already someone there. Senior brother Xu Yang. The second disciple of the giant fire peak, Yongxian, bowed slightly. The Lord wants me to tell you to think of a way to kill Fang Chen. Then, Yongxian told Xu Yang about Fang Chen. The latter was silent for a long time and said, a third-level Holy King killed Bull Demon, who was ranked second on the Saint Emperor leaderboard. His combat strength is suspected to be comparable to a seventh-level Holy King. He was surprised. If the news was accurate, then Fang Chen was undoubtedly a super genius. The Doctrine Palace would definitely protect him very well. It would be difficult to kill him. However, he still gave Yongxian an answer. Chapter 3573. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed since the battle of the demonic fire domain. One day, a piece of news quickly spread throughout the entire Godsfall battlefield. All the martial artists' faces changed when they talked about it. News spread that the top inheritance in the Chaos battlefield had appeared. As long as one could obtain it, there was hope to step into the chaotic supreme realm. This news quickly spread throughout the Godsfall battlefield, causing countless experts to go crazy. For a time, the leaders of the various top forces entered the Chaos battlefield, including Palace Master Lei and the others from the Dao Palace. They left the Myriad Path world without any hesitation. For countless years, due to the restrictions of the world, it was difficult for anyone to step into the chaotic supreme realm with their own efforts. But now, there was a shortcut to obtain the top ancient inheritance and seize the opportunity to succeed. No one was unmoved. In just a few days, all the invincible saints had entered the Chaos battlefield. Even the Bull Demon clan leader and the others who were plotting revenge temporarily gave up on their hatred. The top inheritance. The Bull Demon clan leader clenched his fists, his eyes glowing. He looked up at the other two. Old Ancestor Yi Kang, Spiritual Sword Saint, I think our previous plan should be put on hold. Rumor has it that the Heaven-defying Alliance leader obtained an ancient inheritance from the Chaos battlefield and became the most powerful person in this world. The reason why he is so elusive is that he has tasted the sweetness of success and has been searching for other top inheritances in the Chaos battlefield. The Spiritual Sword Saint nodded. Sword Saint Mountain's inheritance was from the ancient sword god. The sect had a deep foundation and knew many secrets. Therefore, he was the one who understood the Heaven-defying Alliance the most. Although many of the genius disciples of Sword Saint Mountain had been destroyed in the hands of the Heaven-defying Alliance, compared to his own opportunity, everything else was fleeting. I have the memory inheritance left behind by the ancestors of Sword Saint Mountain. I have some understanding of the ancient matters. If the top inheritance appears, I have the greatest chance of obtaining it. Spiritual Sword Saint was excited. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. As long as he could obtain the top inheritance, he was confident that he could break through the shackles of the world and step into the legendary chaotic supreme realm. At that time, he could decide the life and death of the Heaven-defying Alliance with just a word. The entire Godsfall battlefield would respect him. Spiritual Sword Saint clenched his fists. Sword chi surged from his body. He had made his decision. I agree. Patriarch Yi Kang also nodded. The invincible saints will definitely enter the Chaos battlefield to search for the top inheritances. I hope the two of you can leave an order for the saints in your clan to target the Heaven-defying Alliance. It would be best if they can kill Fang Chen. With the experts gone, it would be much easier to target Fang Chen. Even if they killed him, the Heaven-defying Alliance wouldn't send any experts to help them. Spirit Sword Saint and Ox Demon Patriarch nodded. Don't worry, I'll go and prepare. In addition to this, some old monsters who had been living in seclusion also came out of seclusion. The top inheritance was too attractive for invincible saints like them. In just half a month, almost all the invincible saints in the vast Godsfall battlefield had entered the primal chaos battlefield. Even some powerful Ninth Order saints had entered. Huicheng. The group of 9 led by the armored man had been in Fire City for a long time. During this time, they had been moving in secret. They had been investigating the details of the God's Fall battlefield. Now, after hearing the news, the armored man's lips curled up and he sneered. It must be Lord Xiaoyaro who. Someone said. Lord Xiaoyaro who is too strong. He just let out some rumors and all the top experts here have been lured into the chaos battlefield. Congratulations, young Duke. If the invincible saints don't come out, you will be invincible in the world. The servants were very happy. They had waited for 3 months, and Xiaoyaro who had finally made his move. Now, they could finally plunder resources openly and look for heaven-defying opportunities. Let's go. Let's go to the Morcheong fire domain and have a look. Previously, he had sensed that there was a huge fire marrow lode in the Morcheong fire domain, which contained a large number of fire marrow crystals. Not long ago, the token in his hand had sensed the existence of the fire source lode. This discovery made the young duke extremely excited. For his father, Xiaoyaro Hu, the attraction of the fire source lode was also very great. Stupid warriors. How dare they dream of getting the fire source lode? How ridiculous. The young duke sneered, this world is destined to bow down to me and become my place of enlightenment. Bang! In the courtyard, the fire source lode in Fang Chen's hand instantly turned into powder. It then covered the surface of his skin and merged with his flesh and blood. Dong! 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 In an instant, Fang Chen's physical strength skyrocketed. Sword-shaped runes shone and his chaotic sword body was upgraded to another level. Fang Chen opened his eyes. He was surprised to find that the fire source lode that had turned into powder had merged with his flesh and blood, raising the grade of his chaotic sword body to another level. So strong. He clenched his fist and the void was torn apart. A terrifying aura spread out wildly. One should know that this was the myriad Dao world, which was built by the heaven-defying alliance. The space was very strong, and it was not easy to tear it apart. Just my physical strength alone is enough to kill a 6th-rank Holy Emperor. Fang Chen laughed. The fire source lode allowed him to be reborn. After refining the fire source lode, his cultivation level had stabilized at the peak of the 4th rank, and his physical strength had increased by another level. Most importantly, his bloodline had evolved to the perfect level. Wang. With a thought, Fang Chen's bloodline vibrated. His blood flowed out, mixed with faint blue light. A shock that came from the depths of his soul swept across the land. At this moment, all the disciples in the Dao Palace who were in seclusion woke up. They felt their primordial spirits trembling as if the end of the world had arrived. What's going on? Why do I feel my primordial spirit trembling? Oh my God, what kind of power is this? Is it a half-step chaotic sovereign? Many exclamations were heard. It was extremely shocking. Is this the perfect bloodline? Fang Chen murmured as he sensed it seriously. He was also shocked. If a half-perfect bloodline was a baby, then a perfect bloodline was a giant that could sweep across the world. The difference was too big. Boom. At the same time, 5 types of origin energy burst out in the vast God meteorite battlefield. 5 stone pillars appeared from 5 different directions. Everyone was shocked. The 5 stone pillars were the origin order of the world, the foundation that maintained the normal operation of the world. Unexpectedly, they had appeared. The 5 stone pillars shot up into the sky. In the void, they intersected and burst out with dazzling light, like fireworks exploding. A vision from the heavens, fireworks from the origin. This was unprecedented. What happened? Why is there such a vision from the heavens? Chapter 3574. The vibrations that came from the depths of the primordial spirit caused the entire God-Fall battlefield to boil. Everyone felt the pressure of life rating. They even had a feeling that if the pressure was applied on them, even if it was just a trace of aura, it would be enough to crush them completely. The weaker ones were stunned and their bodies couldn't move. As for the stronger ones, they fell into silence for a short period of time. When they recovered, their hearts were filled with coldness. Buzz. At the same time, a terrifying light rushed out from the chaos battlefield and quickly formed a powerful seal that drowned the entire chaos battlefield. Soon after, the chaos battlefield was completely sealed off and isolated from the world. The top experts who entered also lost contact with the outside world. In the wasteland outside the Fire City, the young Marquis and the others who were close to the magic Skyfire region were trembling and their eyes were filled with fear. What's going on? Finally, when the pressure gradually weakened, the young Marquis regained his mobility and cried out. Could it be that there's an old immortal hidden in this world? But even a half-step chaotic sovereign wouldn't be able to have such pressure. A servant said in a deep voice. At this point, the 9 of them looked at each other. The young Marquis shook his head and denied the idea of a chaotic sovereign. Impossible. This world has long been barren and its laws are incomplete. It's impossible for a chaotic sovereign to appear. It must be the resentment of the experts from the Godfall battle that was activated by something and caused such a huge commotion. The young Marquis said in a deep voice. Other than that, there was no other explanation. That's right. I agree with the young Marquis. Even so, we still have to be careful. This world is very strange. It's highly possible that there are old immortals who survived the ancient Godfall battle. Although they might be in a deep sleep and are close to death, it's better to be careful. Finally, after thinking for a while, the young Marquis regained his usual sharpness. He opened his palm and a red light flashed. Then, confidence returned to his face. Humph. With the treasure that my father gave me, what qualifications do a mere descendant of the land of sinners have to compete with me? After saying that, the group continued to move forward and entered the magic Skyfire region. In the vast Godfall battlefield, all the major factions were discussing just what this heaven and earth phenomenon meant. Even the upper echelons of the heaven-defying alliance were shocked. Many disciples of the myriad Tao world came out from their seclusion. However, the phenomenon in the sky didn't have a clear direction, so they guessed that it was caused by a reclusive old monster. Inform the disciples to be more careful. The Godfall battlefield has not been peaceful recently. The person in charge of the Holy Ji Palace sent a message. Whoosh. Fang Chen slowly opened his eyes. His aura had already been restrained. When the heavens and earth phenomenon had appeared, he had been a little worried that he would be discovered. But later, he learned that the perfect bloodline had stolen the sky and swapped the sun, forcefully concealing the secrets of the heavens. Everyone knew that there was a phenomenon in the sky, but they didn't know where it was directed. He heaved a sigh of relief and raised his head. The strange phenomenon in the sky had already disappeared and was replaced by a clear blue sky. Even after such a long time had passed, he still couldn't calm down. It was too shocking. The power of the perfect bloodline was beyond his imagination. The perfection of life hierarchy? Fang Chen murmured. When his bloodline evolved to the perfect level, he understood that the so-called perfect bloodline referred to the perfection of life hierarchy. This kind of perfection was enough to crush other life forms. After his bloodline reached the perfect level, Fang Chen's body underwent a major transformation. His cultivation base had unknowingly broken through to the 5th rank Saint Emperor realm. Most importantly, he had managed to comprehend the origin of fire. Whoosh! With a thought, a flame appeared in front of his chest. This was formed by the origin of fire. Fang Chen could see its trajectory at a glance. This was all because of the perfect bloodline. The perfect bloodline can make my entire body undergo an unbelievable transformation. Fang Chen was excited. The most obvious change was that his comprehension had increased and his cultivation speed had increased. Deng deng deng. Not long after, Wang Daoyun came. Senior brother Wang. Fang Chen had a good impression of Wang Daoyun. Since he had joined the heaven-defying alliance, the latter had been helping him. More importantly, they were both from the 9 regions branch. Junior brother Fang, did you see the vision of heaven and earth that just happened? Wang Daoyun said with a solemn expression. Fang Chen nodded. Wang Daoyun continued, be careful. The Godfall battlefield is not peaceful. There might be a crisis. Fang Chen frowned, puzzled. Then, Wang Daoyun told him that not long ago, they had received news that when the vision of heaven and earth appeared, the chaos battlefield was completely sealed. Many experts of the top forces went to search for it but to no avail. In other words, the chaos battlefield had disappeared and those top forces were trapped inside. What's going on? Hearing this, Fang Chen was shocked. What was going on? Why did the chaos battlefield, which had just spread the news of a top inheritance, suddenly seal and disappear? Fang Chen vaguely felt that this matter was not simple. It was very likely that it was manipulated. Who has such great ability? In a trance, the evil expert in the Demon Emperor's mausoleum appeared in Fang Chen's mind. Suddenly, he was shocked and lost his composure. Junior brother Fang, are you okay? Wang Daoyun thought that Fang Chen was worried about the possible crisis and said, "Don't worry, junior brother Fang. As long as you stay in the myriad Dao world, nothing will happen." Senior brother Wang, has there been any abnormalities in the God's Fall battlefield recently? Fang Chen asked. Wang Daoyun shook his head. He had not found anything for the time being. In the end, after chatting for a while, Wang Daoyun seemed to have received some news and left in a hurry. What's going on? Why didn't the chaos battlefield close before? Why did it suddenly close when my bloodline evolved to the perfect bloodline? Is there a connection? Recalling what Palace Master Lei had said, Fang Chen's heart was heavy. No matter what, he had the perfect bloodline, which meant that he shouldered the dreams of all the cultivators in the God's Fall battlefield. He would deal with whatever came his way. Shaking his head hard, Fang Chen stopped thinking about it. What would come would come. It was useless to think about it. After his bloodline evolved to the perfect level, his overall strength had increased rapidly. Now, he was not afraid of facing an 8th-level saint. Coupled with the Demon Slayer formation and other means, he could protect himself against a 9th-level saint. Unless he was an invincible saint, his life would not be in danger. However, while Fang Chen was thinking, an uninvited guest approached. Chapter 3575. Dawn. The Myriad Path world was personally built by the leader of the Heaven-Defying Alliance. The space was very solid, and even a saint would find it difficult to destroy it. The Holy Ji Palace was located in the Myriad Path world. The origin energy here was abundant, and it was a holy place for cultivation. At a glance, there were many courtyards. These courtyards were the independent residences of the disciples of the Holy Ji Palace. Without the permission of the owner, no one could barge in. This was also a matter of the Heaven-Defying Alliance protecting the cultivation of the disciples. However, at a certain moment, Fang Chen felt the earth tremble and the mountains shake. His courtyard shook violently, and a terrifying aura came from outside the courtyard. Fang Chen immediately stood up, and his face instantly turned gloomy. Junior brother Fang is new here. As your senior brother, I'm here to visit you. Have I offended you? The door opened, and a hearty laugh came. Then, Xu Yang, dressed in black, walked in calmly with his hands behind his back. The moment he looked at Fang Chen, a cold murderous intent flashed in the depths of his eyes, but he quickly recovered. In the face of Xu Yang's provocation, Fang Chen was silent. He clenched his fists, and a terrifying aura dissipated. I'm Xu Yang. Xu Yang introduced himself, and looked at Fang Chen with a smile. So it's senior brother Xu Yang. What brings you here? Fang Chen asked. I heard that you joined the Holy Ji Palace as a 3rd-level Saint King. I don't understand. The Holy Ji Palace is the holy place for cultivation in the Heaven-Defying Alliance, and even the entire Godfall battlefield. The threshold is so high that even a 7th-level saint might not be able to join. Please enlighten me. Xu Yang's words were full of mockery. He deliberately used words to humiliate Fang Chen in order to provoke Fang Chen into a duel. After all, Palace Lord Lei and the other higher-ups of the Heaven-Defying Alliance had already entered the Chaos battlefield and were trapped inside, unable to come out. Even if Xu Yang fought with Fang Chen, no one would say anything. Palace Lord Lei invited me to join, so I joined. Fang Chen shrugged and said lightly, What? Is senior brother Xu Yang questioning Palace Master Lei's decision? Hearing this, Xu Yang's expression changed, and his expression turned sharp. Don't use Palace Lord Lei to scare me. Let's be frank. I, Xu Yang, am not convinced. Why do we have to fight to the death to join the Dao Palace, but you can enter through the back door? This is unfair to us. Even though Xu Yang had heard of Fang Chen's battle in the magic Skyfire region, he still looked down on Fang Chen from the bottom of his heart. This matter was decided by Palace Master Lei Yi. If you are not convinced, you can look for Palace Master Lei Yi. Fang Chen looked cold. Sorry, I don't welcome people like you here. Since Xu Yang came looking for trouble, there was no need to give him any face. Fang Chen directly asked him to leave. Xu Yang was instantly enraged as he glared at Fang Chen. Do you know who you are talking to? At the same time, the aura on his body exploded and swept across the entire courtyard, pressing down on Fang Chen. He wanted to use his aura to suppress Fang Chen and make him retreat. This is my residence. Senior brother Xu Yang, what is the meaning of this? Do you really think that I am afraid of you because I am a new disciple? Fang Chen said angrily. Boom. Without any warning, Xu Yang attacked. He raised his palm and a vast amount of origin energy revolved around his palm. He slapped towards Fang Chen at lightning speed. Dong. Fang Chen did not dodge and let Xu Yang's palm hit his body. Sword-shaped runes flashed and his chaotic sword body was instantly activated. Countless cracks appeared on the ground and a sword-shaped barrier appeared around Fang Chen, binding Xu Yang's palm. Seeing this, Xu Yang's expression changed. He did not expect Fang Chen to be able to dissolve his attack so easily. Interesting, Xu Yang sneered. However, brute force alone is useless. In front of me, even if you are a dragon, you will have to coil around me. If you are a snake, you will have to crawl. With that, Xu Yang increased the strength of his palm and slammed it into Fang Chen's body. Boom. After a fierce collision, Fang Chen was forced to take a few steps back. After stabilizing himself, sword chi surged around him and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The sound of something breaking through the air came from the courtyard and an angry roar was heard. Xu Yang, what are you doing? Wang Daoyun sensed the terrifying aura in Fang Chen's courtyard and returned. When he saw Xu Yang attacking Fang Chen, he was instantly enraged. He knew Xu Yang very well. He was strong in the Holy Ji Palace but had a bad reputation. It was not the first time that he bullied new disciples. Besides, Fang Chen was personally brought in by Palace Master Lei Yi and was from the same hometown as Wang Daoyun. They were both from the 9 Regions branch. How could he turn a blind eye to this? Condensing fire palm. Xu Yang ignored Wang Daoyun's angry roar and used the condensing fire palm. The scorching origin energy of fire circled around his palm and slammed it into the void. Seeing this, Wang Daoyun couldn't care less anymore. He leapt up and landed in front of Fang Chen. Countless waves appeared in front of him. He grabbed with both of his palms, and with the dense waves, he collided with Xu Yang's palms. Hiss hiss hiss. The origin energy of fire and the origin energy of water collided with each other and burst into countless sparks. The two completely opposite origin energies consumed each other and disappeared in the void in the blink of an eye. Bang! In the end, Wang Daoyun was not as strong as Xu Yang. In the previous confrontation, he was at a disadvantage and took a few steps back. Xu Yang, what are you doing? Wang Daoyun stared at Xu Yang angrily. This is the Holy Ji Palace. How dare you attack a fellow disciple? Xu Yang looked at Wang Daoyun and said coldly, Humph, when did it become your turn to interfere with what I do? Clearly, Xu Yang was not afraid of Wang Daoyun. Senior brother Wang. Fang Chen told Wang Daoyun that Xu Yang was looking for trouble. When Wang Daoyun heard it, he was furious. Junior brother Fang was personally brought here by Palace Master Lei Yi. By doing this, you are challenging Palace Master Lei Yi's authority. Do you think that no one can punish you when Palace Master Lei Yi enters the chaos battlefield? Wang Daoyun, don't scare me. Xu Yang also knew that he was in the wrong and didn't want to be too entangled with Wang Daoyun. Therefore, he changed the topic. I naturally don't dare to question Palace Master Lei Yi's decision, but I am not satisfied. Why is a guy with such a weak cultivation level qualified to be in the same sect as me? Xu Yang said. If everyone is like him, where is the Holy Ji Palace's reputation? If other disciples know about this, how will they feel? Will the Holy Ji Palace still have power in the future? Humph, This is Palace Master Lei's decision, Wang Daoyun said coldly. That's why I want to challenge him. If Palace Master Lei didn't bring him here, I would have attacked him directly, Xu Yang said coldly. Challenge. Chapter 3576. Although Xu Yang was much stronger than Wang Daoyun, the latter did not give him any face. It was obvious that Xu Yang was jealous of Fang Chen's potential, so he came looking for trouble. His overall strength could be ranked in the top 50 of the Holy Ji Palace disciples, and he was at the peak of the 8th rank. He had once killed a 9th rank saint on his own, and now he was challenging a new disciple. It was simply bullying. You've gone too far. As a fellow disciple, I'm also very concerned about the new disciple's cultivation state, so I want to spar with him to see if he needs my help. Why are you saying that I'm a despicable person who bullies the weak and fears the strong? Xu Yang said shamelessly. You. Wang Daoyun was furious. He pointed at the door and said coldly, "This is Junior Fang's residence. Not only did you barge in, but you also destroyed the door. Are you challenging the bottom line of the upper echelons of the Holy Ji Palace?" Sure enough, after hearing Wang Daoyun's words, Xu Yang's expression changed. Even though the top experts had entered the chaos battlefield and could not come out for the time being, it did not mean that he was invincible. There were still many peak 9th rank saints among the upper echelons of the Holy Ji Palace. Once they were lured out, there would be trouble. Xu Yang pondered for a moment, then looked at Fang Chen with a smile. Since Junior Fang is not willing to spar with me, I'll take my leave first. Let's talk another day. After Xu Yang left, Wang Daoyun looked at Fang Chen seriously. Are you okay? Fang Chen shook his head and bowed to thank Wang Daoyun. Although he was not afraid of Xu Yang, Wang Daoyun had good intentions. He could feel the latter's concern for him. Xu Yang is very sinister and has a bad reputation in the Holy Ji Palace. He often bullies new disciples. There are many disciples in the Holy Ji Palace who have been bullied by him. Wang Daoyun said in a low voice, "Since that guy has his eyes on you, he won't let it go. Be careful. If anything happens, let me know immediately." In the next few days, every time Fang Chen left his residence, he would run into Xu Yang. The latter did not attack him, but followed him like a ghost. This made Fang Chen very angry. Finally, one day, when Fang Chen was about to go to the library, a dramatic scene happened. Junior brother Fang. Xu Yang leaped up and shot out from the void, stopping in front of Fang Chen. A terrifying power swept across the world and slammed into Fang Chen's body. At the same time, Xu Yang secretly slapped out with his palm. The sword-shaped runes on the surface of Fang Chen's skin flashed as he activated the Chaos Sword body. His defense increased tremendously as he easily neutralized Xu Yang's attack. I'm doing this for your own good. You should know that there are countless disciples in the Holy Ji Palace, and not everyone is as concerned about the new disciples as I am. Xu Yang said shamelessly, "The purpose of me sparring with you is to help you find the shortcomings of the secret method and the problems you encounter in your cultivation. Then, I will point them out to you one by one. In this way, your cultivation will be twice the result with half the effort." Fang Chen did not say anything. Xu Yang continued, "Go out and ask around. There are more than 20 junior brothers in the Holy Ji Palace who have been taught by me. Now, when they see me, they treat me as if I'm their senior. They are very respectful." Ever since Wang Daoyun warned Xu Yang, he changed his strategy. He no longer forced Fang Chen to accept the challenge. Instead, he used such a shameless method to harass Fang Chen. Senior brother Xu Yang. Fang Chen stopped and blocked the airwaves released by Xu Yang. The Chaos Sword body went silent again. He raised his head and looked at Xu Yang seriously. "You really want to spar with me? Of course. You will know what kind of person Xu Yang, However, before Fang Chen could say anything, a roar came from the void far away. Then, a burly fat man stepped on the clouds and came over. He was wearing black armor and was very burly. He carried a black battle axe on his back. His body was filled with a terrifying killing intent, as if he was an expert who had walked out of purgatory. Boom. When he arrived and saw Xu Yang, he didn't say a word. He pulled out his battle axe and swung it at Xu Yang. The battle axe was wrapped in the power of the origin. It cut through the void and appeared above Xu Yang's head with unparalleled power. D*mn fatty, are you crazy? Xu Yang was infuriated and retaliated. He slapped out with both hands and origin energy surged. He slammed his palms onto the battle axe with a deafening sound. Dong! A terrifying power came from the battle axe and forced Xu Yang to take a few steps back. After stabilizing himself, Xu Yang glared at the burly fat man and gritted his teeth. Are you bullying the new junior brother again? The burly fat man held the battle axe and said with a strong aura. Temph, it's not up to you to tell me what to do. Xu Yang said coldly. Junior brother, don't believe this guy. He likes to bully the new disciples. The burly fat man turned his head and said to Fang Chen. Fang Chen was stunned for a moment before he understood. He thought that the burly fat man in front of him had been bullied by Xu Yang before. Fatty, you are courting death. Xu Yang's face turned ugly when he was exposed. He attacked and the two of them started fighting again. Fang Chen retreated far away and watched the battle carefully. Although Xu Yang is not smart enough, his strength is not bad. Fang Chen commented. Xu Yang's cultivation was at the peak of the 8th rank, but his combat strength had reached the 9th rank. If I attack with all my strength, Fang Chen was thinking. If he were to make a move, what were his chances of winning? After a while, Fang Chen shook his head. So far, it was almost impossible for him to defeat Xu Yang unless he used the perfect bloodline. Even so, he could only tie with him at most. If I fully understand the Demon Slayer formation, I should be able to suppress him with the help of the Demon Slayer formation. Fang Chen had already decided not to fight with Xu Yang for the time being. Boom! In a flash, the battle between the burly fat man and Xu Yang was over. Xu Yang stood domineeringly, while the burly fat man was slightly embarrassed. Obviously, he was at a disadvantage in the battle just now. D*mn fatty, if I hadn't guided you back then, would you have achieved what you have today? You don't know how to repay kindness and turned against me? Xu Yang sneered. I know all about your secret techniques. What are you going to use to fight me? Humph, one day, I will surpass you. The burly fat man was not convinced. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The battle here caused a huge commotion and attracted many disciples of the Dao Palace. When they saw Xu Yang and Fang Chen, they instantly understood what was going on. Some of the more prestigious disciples said, Xu Yang, Palace Lord Lei just left and you are already jumping up and down? This is the Dao Palace and we are from the same sect. How dare you have designs on us? Xu Yang glanced at everyone. His face was calm, but his heart was filled with murderous intent. He did not have much time left. He had to find a way to eliminate Fang Chen. This was an order and something he had to do. Chapter 3577. The fat man's name was Xie. He had not been in the palace for long. His strength was similar to Wang Daoyun's, but his potential was obviously not as good. Back then, Wang Daoyun had stood out from the 9 Regions division. He had just joined the heaven-defying alliance when he had been chosen by the higher-ups of the palace. Many of the higher-ups had high hopes for him, thinking that his future would not be too low. Now, he was just limited by the time he had to cultivate. But Xie was different. Compared to the younger generation outside, his potential was top-notch. But in the palace, he was slightly mediocre. But he was still very loyal. When he had just entered the palace, he had been bullied by Xu Yang. Now that he saw him continue to bully the newcomers, even if he was no match for him, he did not hesitate to stand up for Fang Chen. But he was no match for Xu Yang at all. The battle between the two had attracted the attention of many disciples. Who is he? Why is he so unfamiliar? Is he a new junior brother? Look, Xie is also here. This unfamiliar junior apprentice brother must be a newcomer. Seeing Xu Yang and Xie, the disciples guessed that Xu Yang must be bullying the newcomers. Some disciples could not stand it and reprimanded Xu Yang. Of course, some disciples remained neutral and watched the battle. Junior brother Fang. Wang Daoyun, who had heard the news, glared at Xu Yang angrily. Then he went to Fang Chen and asked about his situation. Fang Chen shook his head, indicating that he was fine. He is Fang Chen. Hearing Wang Daoyun's words, some disciples finally recognized Fang Chen. In the battle of the demonic fire domain, Fang Chen's battle had shocked the world. As a third-level holy king, he had severely injured Tang Yi, who was fifth on the Saint Emperor ranking, and killed Niu Mo. Every disciple's gaze was focused on Fang Chen's figure. They were dumbfounded. They could not believe that this seemingly weak guy in front of them was so powerful. At first, some people were doubtful. Did Fang Chen enter the palace through the back door? But when his battle results were exposed, they no longer doubted him. There was even some admiration in their eyes. "Xu Yang, that's enough," Wang Daoyun said angrily. Wang Daoyun said angrily. Xu Yang had been finding fault with him time and time again. He had the heart but was powerless. He felt that he had let Fang Chen down. "If you continue to harass junior brother Fang like this, I can only report to the first elder and let him uphold justice for junior brother Fang." The first elder was the most powerful person in the Dao Palace apart from the three palace lords. A long time ago, in a battle with an enemy, his internal organs were destroyed and he almost died. Over the countless years, he had been hiding in the Dao Palace to recover. This time, when the Chaos battlefield opened, the first elder did not enter. Although Xu Yang knew that the great elder's strength might have already fallen, he was still a little afraid. After all, the great elder was an old monster who had survived from ancient times. "Wang Daoyun, your words are a little too much. I just want to give junior brother Fang some pointers and exchange pointers with him. How can you treat me like this?" Xu Yang said innocently. The surrounding people were speechless. Xu Yang's skin was really thick. At the same time, Xu Yang looked at Fang Chen with a smile. His eyes were cold. Wang Daoyun still wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Fang Chen. "Senior brothers, I am very grateful for your help," Fang Chen said. "Senior brother Xu Yang is so kind. How can I refuse?" After saying that, he took a step forward and stared at Xu Yang in front of everyone's eyes. "You want to exchange pointers with me?" Fang Chen asked. Xu Yang nodded. Fang Chen continued, "Since senior brother Xu Yang is so kind, how can I refuse? How do you want to exchange pointers?" "Naturally, we will fight in the arena," Xu Yang said. Buzz. Xu Yang's aura soared and pressed down on Fang Chen. When Fang Chen saw that, he sneered and flicked his finger. A ray of sword chi shot out and shattered the pressure that was coming at him. In an instant, the surrounding disciples exclaimed. They were dumbfounded. "Fifth rank Holy King?" Someone exclaimed. Everyone was shocked. The battle of the demonic fire domain. Fang Chen was only a third-rank Holy King. It had only been a few months, but he had already crossed 2 ranks. He had stepped into the 5th-rank Holy King? How is that possible? Many people could not believe it. The cultivation of the Holy King realm was against the heavens. Every step was a threshold. It was very difficult. Some people were even stuck in the Holy King realm for their entire lives. However, the guy in front of them had crossed 2 ranks. It was unbelievable. Wang Daoyun and Xie Kuei widened their eyes in excitement. Xu Yang was stunned. Then, his face darkened. Fang Chen's potential was stronger than he had imagined. A ray of light flashed in his eyes. He was even more determined to kill Fang Chen at all costs, even if he had to expose his identity. Moreover, he only had one chance. Once he failed, his plan would be completely exposed. He might even die because of it. Whoosh. After adjusting his breathing, Xu Yang calmed down and stared deeply at Fang Chen. "I can accept your challenge. However, as you know, I have just arrived and do not have any cultivation resources. If I am lucky," Xu Yang waved his hand and stopped Fang Chen. "I understand. If I lose, no, if junior brother Fang can withstand 10 moves from me, I will give you 10 pieces of thunderbolt wood." Once he said that, the crowd was in an uproar. Thunderbolt wood was extremely precious and valuable. It was rare in the world. Usually, one would not even see one. No one had expected Xu Yang to take out a piece of thunderbolt wood as a prize. However, everyone was relieved soon. Although Fang Chen's potential was unparalleled, the gap between their ranks was too big. It could not be made up. Even if Fang Chen had crossed 2 ranks in a short period of time and stepped into the 5th rank Holy King realm, he was still not favored. Potential was just potential. It could not be converted into actual combat power. Using Thunderbolt Wood as a prize, senior brother Xu Yang is so generous. It's a pity that I can't take out a prize that matches it. Fang Chen smiled. However, he was very excited. The perfect bloodline had just evolved and needed to absorb a large amount of energy. Thunderbolt Wood was a rare treasure and was the most suitable. Thunder was of the fire attribute. It would allow him to better understand the origin of fire. Senior brother, I just want to guide junior brother's cultivation. Why would I ask junior brother to take out a prize? In fact, Xu Yang sneered in his heart. The prize he needed to pay was his life. Junior brother Fang, you can't. Wang Daoyun and Xie Kuei hurriedly stopped him. Xie Kuei even scolded Xu Yang, saying that he was a despicable and shameless person. The surrounding disciples were also shaking their heads. However, they did not say anything. Since the person involved had agreed, they had nothing to say. Senior brothers, I have just arrived and am not familiar with the Holy Ji Palace. I beg you to be a witness to prevent senior brother Xu Yang from going back on his word. Fang Chen said innocently. Xu Yang staggered, thinking that he had misheard. However, he soon calmed down and smiled. In fact, he had already sentenced Fang Chen to death in his heart. Chapter 3578. Fang Chen felt Xu Yang's killing intent towards him. Although it was just a flash, his perfect bloodline had clearly sensed it. He had never interacted with Xu Yang before, but Xu Yang wanted to kill him for the first time they met. This made him very puzzled. He wanted to cultivate wholeheartedly, but Xu Yang kept disturbing him. Facing Xu Yang's aggression, he could only accept the challenge. Moreover, even if Xu Yang was strong, he was not weak either. I can take this opportunity to see how strong my perfect bloodline is. Where is the limit? Fang Chen thought to himself. He looked up at Xu Yang with a slight smile on his face, as if he was not afraid of the upcoming battle. Seeing this, Xu Yang frowned. He could defeat anyone in the same realm. He, who was at the peak of the 8th rank, had once killed a 9th rank saint. Any saint king who saw him would feel fear from the bottom of their heart. However, the guy in front of him did not fear him at all. Was he putting on an act, or did he really have something to rely on? When Xu Yang thought about how Fang Chen was able to defeat a 6th-level Holy Emperor when he was a 3rd-level Holy King, and even killed a 7th-level Ox Demon, he felt a slight ripple in his heart. Humph, no matter what tricks you have, I will kill you. Soon, Xu Yang calmed down and snorted coldly. His confidence was restored, and he looked at Fang Chen domineeringly. What kind of person am I? How could I do such a shameless thing? If junior brother Fang can withstand 10 moves from me, I will give you 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood with both hands. Furthermore, I will not disturb your cultivation in the future. Xu Yang sneered in his heart, but he spoke in a dignified manner. Everyone was speechless. He knew that he could not lose, so he said that on purpose, right? Many people shook their heads, and some reminded Fang Chen not to agree so easily. However, Fang Chen had already made up his mind. In order to show his magnanimity, Xu Yang did not ask for the battle to take place immediately, but proposed to wait for half a month. Junior brother Fang has just broken through, and your realm has not completely stabilized. You need to consolidate. I will not take advantage of you. I will give you half a month to consolidate. Half a month later, you and I will fight in the arena. After Xu Yang finished speaking, he turned around and left. In front of so many people, he was not worried that Fang Chen would go back on his word. Before long, many of the disciples who had come to watch the show left. Only a few disciples who had been bullied by Xu Yang stayed behind. They looked at Fang Chen helplessly. Junior brother Fang, that Xu Yang is despicable and shameless. Many of us have suffered at his hands. That's right. You shouldn't have agreed to it. With your potential, it wouldn't be a problem for you to join the Holy Ji Palace. Furthermore, you were personally recruited by Palace Lord Lei Yi. If you didn't agree, Xu Yang wouldn't have dared to force you. Sigh, you fell into Xu Yang's trap again. Many disciples sighed, but since it had already happened, there was nothing they could do. Although they were all disciples of the Holy Ji Palace and were geniuses, there were still many who were stronger than them. I appreciate your kind intentions, senior brothers. Since I dared to agree, I have weighed the pros and cons. Fang Chen cupped his fists and thanked them. Soon, the disciples left. Before Xie Kuei left, he patted Fang Chen's shoulder heavily. Junior brother, my name is Xie Kuei. You are definitely my friend. Fang Chen grinned. Xie Kuei was very forthright and spoke up for justice. He was worthy of being friends with. Junior brother Fang, you, in the end, only Wang Daoyun was left. The latter shook his head, worried for Fang Chen. In the courtyard, Fang Chen and Wang Daoyun sat opposite each other. Senior brother Wang, you don't have to worry, Fang Chen said with a smile. How can I not be worried? That's Xu Yang. Even I am no match for him. Wang Daoyun shook his head. Although you are talented, you have only cultivated for a short time. You are no match for Xu Yang. In the Holy Ji Palace, senior brother Wang should be the one who knows me the best, right? Fang Chen said. Others may not know, but don't you know me? I never do things that I am not confident of. Since I dared to agree to Xu Yang's request, I have a certain level of confidence. However, Fang Chen was a little worried. He was worried that Xu Yang would go back on his word if he defeated him. The thunderstruck wood was very important to him. It was a rare treasure. He was worried that Xu Yang would act out of desperation and go back on his word. Wang Daoyun said on the spot, Junior brother Fang, you don't have to worry about this. Today, in front of so many people, if Xu Yang goes back on his word, someone will stand up for him. In the following conversation, Fang Chen told Wang Daoyun that after his cultivation had stepped into the 5th level Holy Emperor realm, his strength had skyrocketed. He could easily suppress a 7th level saint. This set off a storm in Wang Daoyun's heart. He could not calm down for a long time. In just a few days, the news of Fang Chen and Xu Yang's battle spread completely. Many disciples began to pay attention to Fang Chen. When they found out about Fang Chen's battle results, they were all extremely surprised. The quiet Holy Ji Palace became lively again. However, Fang Chen received a piece of shocking news. The heaven-defying alliance had found some clues about the whereabouts of the Sky Sword Peak Master and were following up. Fang Chen's heart was not calm. Back then, the Sky Sword Peak Master had taken revenge for him. In a fit of anger, he killed his way to the No-Demon cult's lair and then mysteriously disappeared. Fang Chen had always felt guilty about this. Now, there was a glimmer of hope. After the battle with Xu Yang, I'll go and find out more information, Fang Chen said. In the distant demonic Skyfire region, the triple origin flames were flying. The young Marquis and his group left Fire City and entered the demonic Skyfire region. Then, they used a powerful method to completely seal off this place and isolate it from the outside world. After that, the 9 of them came to the Fire Marrow Mine and massacred it. Sinners, what right do you have to touch the Fire Marrow Mine? The 9 of them floated above the Fire Marrow Mine and looked down from above. The young Marquis sneered. Who are you? How dare you behave so atrociously here? Below, someone shouted angrily. Boom. A servant next to the young Marquis suddenly struck out with a palm. In an instant, the earth shook and the mountain shook. The person who had spoken was instantly crushed. The terrifying palm print affected many people in the mine and miserable screams were heard. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The elders of the various top sects flew out of the mine and glared at the young Marquis and his group. Who exactly are you? The elder from 9 Saints' Palace asked. Why did you kill my disciples for no reason? Sinners, you trespassed into the young Marquis' territory and tried to mine the mine. This is a capital offense, the servant said coldly. It is your honor to die at the hands of the young Marquis. Boom. The elder from 9 Saints' Palace was furious and his aura surged. Since the establishment of 9 Saints' Palace, you are the first person who dares to be so arrogant and kill my disciples. I want to see who you are. From the beginning to the end, the young Marquis had not made a move.